Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. Welcome to another stream. Also, the camera slightly. Hello. Welcome. We're back at it again. Now, so we are working on the Handyman with the Unicycle yet again. Well, first to recap, yesterday's stream down there looks a bit different now. We have, yeah, things going on. We have, the animation thingy over here, this guy. We did more work with it, mainly with the camera, and then some stuff with the environment. Made like a placeholder kind of coin. Again, it's still in very, very early stages from where I would like for it to eventually be, but it is certainly getting there. So yeah, currently it's just, yeah, cube and coin. Cube, yeah, just going around to different coins that spawn around it, basically. Well, actually, it's the same coin that just moves around, but close enough. It does the job, it works. And then the camera does that zooming thing that it's currently doing, which, yeah, it works. It seems to work. This is also my first time attempting to do stuff with Cinema Machine and, yeah, fancy camera stuff. So, yeah, I was learning a bit with that. And it works for, like a small scale thing like this, where you don't need the camera to be super crazy complicated other than what we were able to set up from Cinema Machine things. But that's not what we're doing today. We're now back to the Handyman with Unicycle, where I have made a few changes since last time it was seen on the stream. So let me show off stuff. It's still not everything's what I call wrong thing. Not everything's fully functional, and that's, you know, an issue, but it's, you know, getting there. So currently as it stands, actually, hold on. Yeah, you're gonna break when I... Right, no, of course, right, no, of course, you're not leaning. Yeah, never mind. I was like, wait a minute, was something working? No, of course not, because I disabled things, so, yeah, anyways. So, yeah, this is the Handyman with the Unicycle as it currently is. We can move around, we can go up slopes and do that when we're falling, have the Unicycle sort of go in the direction of our velocity, which allows us to do this, to be able to sort of stick to walls. And eventually, someday, I swear, it'll be a thing that if I'm standing still, I will not remain on the wall, I will fall down. That will be a thing. Just, yeah, not there currently as of yet. But you may notice between yesterday and now, the character is actually turning, and it is like that now because I have made a decision. I decided to do something that I was hoping I wouldn't have to do, and it might present some potential future problems, but I guess we'll kind of worry about that when we get to them, and hope that they won't be too bad. Basically, up until now, I tried to have the way the internal logic of the character was. I tried to have it be like, this parent game object here that's called player only affected the position of the player, and having the rotation of the player always be all zeroed out. And then having the, down here, this unicycle pivot, I wanted this to be the thing that actually turned purely for visual sake. Because the turning is all, in theory, supposed to be all visual. And part of that is because I potentially want the player to be able to move in a direction, but not necessarily have the player facing that direction. We have it as a thing on the old player where you can sort of be pedaling backwards. And then just stuff like that in terms of animating this thing, I thought would be better if this sort of parent thing didn't turn and all the turning was done visually through the child thing. However, that was causing so many issues of and just not being able to have this parent game object stay having a rotation of all zeros, or mainly zero rotation in the Y was the important thing. That was not happening when it came to slopes, and mainly going fully upside down and whatnot was just not going to happen, as being difficult. So my solution to that, for now, is just, I just whipped up having the player actually turn, and turns based on the velocity, which seems like, yeah, it's working. It seems like it solves that problem. It's just, when I get to trying to have more complicated animations and visual stuff, it then might pose problems, but for now it seems fine. Also, I don't know if that's a controller problem or if that's an input problem, like an actual code problem. That's something I can figure out at some point. So that's problem number one of the sort of two big problems I'm currently facing with the player. That's problem number one, potentially solved. But it's not like I solved the problem. I just went about things in a different way where that problem stopped existing. So I mean, I guess it worked. Now, the next problem is with the camera, and it's actually fundamentally the same problem, or a very similar problem, that I don't have an easy way to smooth out and just, you know, do it in a different way so that the problem stops existing. And that is with the slopes. So, oh, right. So, oh, right, I forgot that that does that. So ignoring, right, because you are based on the which way that the parent, because the parent to the player used to not turn, and this used to base its rotation based on how that parent used to not turn. Right, so this is more broken than I thought it was gonna be when I started these sentences. However, even though this looks weird and super broken, I can go upside down, like the oh boy. Yeah, okay, so there's still some funkiness to it. That's to be expected at this point. But, the camera... Oh, boy, oh, boy. Oh, I also increased the player's gravity just a little bit. That helped, with sticking to the ground. But that's just increasing a number wasn't that big of a thing. Yeah, when the player's velocity gets really low, it does not like how it is trying to turn. So that's stuff that can be addressed at some point, but yeah, the camera falling behind, that's also not right. In my game, something it doesn't seem like it's that unique, but I've been doing a lot of Googling. It's been hard to actually find good resources on the stuff that I've been trying to do similar to this, but there's just so many extra complications that arise when I want the character to be able to fully move around upside down and do loop-de-loops and stuff. It just makes things so much harder, and so much more uncommon of what things do in games. Anyways, so the camera was having issues, or is still having issues with how it turns on slopes and whatnot, and mainly going from if I'm fully upside down to if I leave and I'm now in the air, the camera needs to flip around to being upright, and having it flip upright but still be facing the same general direction and not like 180 around, that has been its own complicated issue. And then as the player goes player goes like sideways, like doing stuff based off that rotation. Like it's a whole bunch of issues. The camera's just having a whole bunch of problems. So I'm trying to. That's something I'm still trying to figure out. And whatnot. Oh, I also temporarily turn off the zooming. Yeah, you're gonna stay up. I think I can have the zoom be on. Just let those guys be off for now, right? And then you'll. Yeah, for now. So now the problem with the camera doesn't turn currently is that I can't go up walls, because then the system that like sort of says, okay, here's our input, map it to the camera's direction, doesn't map. Like right now, if it's flat, you know, there's no up. It doesn't bend to a slope. When the camera turns, then it turns. It's currently set up to turn based on that slope pivot essentially. So the fact that it doesn't do that means we can't go up walls. We can go up slopes and stuff, that's fine, but as soon as we hit 90 degrees, it doesn't like it anymore. So that's, yeah. So this could potentially be a thing I'd have to potentially worry about, but when the camera is turning properly with the slopes, then this becomes a non-issue. So, yeah. So it's not, like, it's either I have one issue or the other, but I know which one is the one I want to solve that'll sort of fix the other, make it not happening anymore. So, anyways, though, so, all that being said, the player is moving pretty fine on the ground, so, like, that's good. Well, another issue is I know when I move at fast speeds, there's a tiny bit of, like, jittering between the player and the camera, and that's something I might have to sort out. I think that it's to some degree being caused that by the camera is moving in late updates, so based on just the frame rate of the game, the player is moving based on fixed updates, so based on whatever the physics time step is, and those being out of sync can cause issues, but the solution that Unity sort of has for that is the rigid body on the player, setting that to interpolate over here is supposed to fix those issues, and I think it does at slow speeds. Well, even then, not still a little bit of jittering. My theory was that, like, oh, that kind of works at slow speed, but once I'm moving like fast enough, then it starts to have that jitter, I guess. So then it might be a solution that might not quite work. So one thing I can potentially do is, oh, that's cool movement. I like how that looks. One thing I can potentially do is maybe go back to the player and the camera all moving in fixed update. An issue with that is that the camera's not really supposed to move in fixed update because it sort of locks the frame rate of how often the camera moves. Although I did up the fixed time step. I mean, like, if I have to choose the lesser of two evils of getting rid of weird jittery movement for the camera to, like, oh, you might notice the camera's not moving at, like, the fastest frame rate imaginable, then, like, if it's the lesser of two evils, it might be fine. Oh, this is the old camera turn. I don't use this code anymore. But, yeah. And then there's also, like, part of... that's also my guess as to what's causing the issue. I don't know for sure that could be something else that's causing that specific jitter issue, because I have all these different pieces of the camera that I also don't know to what degree I might combine these all again. I had reasons of why I sort of separated the camera pivot, slope pivot, horizontal pivot, vertical pivot, and camera ideal position that also handles the zooming. I had reasons why I separated them. So I don't know if I'll kind of have to reassess this list. One thing that I realized that is a thing that games do, it's common for 3D platformers to do, and I'm like, oh, I don't do that, and I didn't think about whether that's something I should do and how I would program such a thing is. So right now, if I move left and right, then I just move, you know, perfectly left and right, right? Some games with a 3D platformer camera, if I move to the side, the camera, like, turns. So if I hold left, I end up moving in a perfect circle. Like, well, even Mario games do that, a lot of them. So that's something that, you know, I currently do. And I'm like, should I have my character do that? Is it better if it does that? And if I were to do that, how would I even do that in the first place? Well, that would be, I mean, to some degree, maybe it's just a matter of, like, oh, if I'm holding to the side, then I take my horizontal pivot and I, you know, mess with the numbers or whatever. But then, you know, the exact math of how to do that, and it's like, okay, how does that behave when I move forward and back, or like on the diagonal, blah, blah, blah. There's like considerations to take, but it's like, okay, it seems like if I think enough about it, it's like potentially doable, but before I were to even do such a thing, like, is it a thing I even want to have in the first place? Because for my game, it might be the case that, like, oh, maybe I don't want the camera to turn sideways. If I'm like here, and let's say, you know, on some platforms and like a bunch of cannonballs are being shot at me and I have to move out of the way, is it potentially better to be able to move this perfect left and right? Like, oh, dodge that one, oh, dodge that one, and dodge that one. Is that better to not have the camera turn to be able to do that? Because otherwise it's more annoying if, like, oh no, why is the camera turning? I want to just be looking forward. But is such a scenario likely to come up in the game? Like, depends on how I design my hazards or whatever, right? So, like, I don't know for sure. Oh, I've also just noticed that I changed, oh, no, I think this is a change I made out of, was in play mode. I upped you. This move smoothing, I upped that, and then now, excuse me? This camera should be like, no, it's if I move it up, you're supposed to, did I comment out you being used? Why? This is supposed to make the camera not exactly perfectly follow the player, and I don't actually know why it's currently not doing that. Oh, it is, but it isn't. What the heck? Oops. So I was giving all this introductory monologue to then say that, like, this isn't actually what we're going to be programming today because I'm still having issues with this camera system. I'm going to save it for myself to solve, and in the meantime, we're going to do some other things that I have a better idea of how we're going to do. But while there's a little bit that I can do and fix, and why not, right? So, yeah, real quick, toss the game view just down here. I just want to be able to see the scene and the game view at the same time. If I take you, this is the, ignore that when I have, yeah, ignore that gets like extra choppy when I'm trying to have both of them. Yeah, you smoothly do that, so why does the, why, let me move back over here. Why do you move so exactly? Also, I see that being, like, even that thing is being super jittery. This camera zoom. Oh. Oh, I know. Oh. Okay, I kind of know why. That's... Okay, something I'll come back to, but if I turn off the zoom, then you're gonna... Yeah, do that again. Okay. Problems with my zoom code that I will fix, not now, but later. I just wanted to find the source of the problem, see if it was something simple. More in-depth stuff is gonna have to change with that, so we're not gonna worry about that right now. Always go to here, turn you off, and now I should see... Well, like, kind of, right? Yeah. Not exactly what I want, but, I mean, the speed is off, but, yeah. Yeah, camera systems are hard and complicated, but also very important to be good and look good. Otherwise, you know, can make game bad. Even stuff like having screen shake when, like, cool stuff happens, explosion, like, whatever. Having the camera lean if I want it to for different reasons. I mean, it is eventually going to lean with the slopes, but for... any other stuff, cinematic stuff. I'd like to be able to have a system where, like what happens in Sonic games sometimes, where sort of override the camera and be like, oh, you're doing a loop-to-loop, let's pull the camera back and, you know, be at a side angle, but you're still moving forward doing the loop-to-loop. Stuff like that. Although maybe not that specifically, but like, I'd like the code to be there to be able to handle not having the camera be traditional third-person camera sometimes. Be able to be like, oh, for this chunk of the level, it's more of a visual spectacle. Hijack the camera and move it over to this spot. That's why I set up that the actual camera itself is not under the camera pivot. All this camera pivot stuff is to have this camera ideal position, and then currently the camera is just set to hard go to this camera ideal position. So it may as well, for all intents and purposes, be under there, but I'd like to be able to hijack it to that either, you know, some Boolean is set or whatever, it goes here, or it follows some other object that I then set for it to be like, oh, you know, go over here instead. That's also, in theory, if I have cutscenes, then it would, you know, do stuff with that as well. Also, currently, this is just using normal Unity camera stuff. There's also the idea of, would I want to use Cinema Machine for this camera, which I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I know that, I mean, part of Cinema Machine stuff can have, like, you know, built-in third-person camera kind of a thing. However, I need to do more on top of that. I need, like, the whole thing of having the camera turn for slopes, that's the whole thing. That's the complicated part that I don't have quite solved. So I'm gonna, you know, hopefully figure that out. Anyways, so all that to say, though, on flat ground when I'm not going up slopes and loops and whatnot, the camera is currently functional enough. Although, so I say that, I want to make one more change. I want to just try, just to real quick narrow down whether something is or isn't causing the problem. I just want to put these in fixed update. All of these. Would I even need to be all of them? Let me try, I'm gonna do it one at a time, moving of these different camera functions, moving them into, yeah, interesting. So, well, yeah, so you're... Why not? Oh, because you, and then what? Then main camera move. I just want to see, just test stuff real quick. Just those two make. So you're smooth, but you're, oh no, you're still not smooth. Well, okay, part of that's now going to be because I have some bits in the actual code that go times delta time, so you'd want to be fixed delta time. Even though we don't actually use this hub manager instance and hub manager in flight or whatever, we don't do anything with that yet. But that's what I'm hoping to get to today, is that currently the player is broken in other scenes. Still jittering. Really interesting. If I can narrow down that jittering isn't actually being caused by... These shouldn't affect it because I'm not turning the camera, but I'm just gonna make that change anyway. Fixed update. If I can narrow down that weird jittering isn't because of the discrepancy between late update and fixed update, that at least just narrows down, like, then I know it's something else that I gotta find. Which will kind of suck in that I thought this was going to definitely be the issue. Any script here that's off, I shouldn't have to touch. So with just slope pivots off, camera follow, and then this. So if you still have weird jittering, which you do, What's causing that then? Well, now if I turn off UV on interpolate. Interesting. So that was at least part of the problem. Also, wait a minute. Why are the speeds different? I thought I made all the code frame rate independent. So if I, by moving from late update to fixed update, I essentially changed the frame rate that these functions run. I thought that should have made it so that if I change the frame rate, then all the code would be consistent, but it's obviously not. The speed is changed, and the following is different. Let's fix that. Let's make that not that way. So using smooth damp, is this reference, like what part of this is not? Or I guess because I'm multiplying it by a different number. I don't know. I thought that it would have no, because it should have been like move blah amount per second or whatever. Also, I'm gonna lower. Oh well. For now, I'll just so I can look. Not at. Oh, this didn't go down all the way. I think it's get stopped by something. Everything's good. Not causing any issues. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just gonna mess with the numbers for now and get it to be good enough, and then so what you should be like, I don't know, go 5. And then, I would have play mode. Be like 5, and then the horizontal and vertical pivots should be like... You need to be higher, so let's go something like... Well, no, before I change that number, I want to make sure, is the problem... Oh, what the... Why are you doing that? Oh, and you're being jittery too. Heh. Because I didn't, undo that change. Why? This shouldn't be, like, even if it, and it wasn't this jittery before, fixed update should currently be running at 75 frames per second. So, like, this shouldn't be a thing, like, this shouldn't be a jittering that I notice. So why am I? Oh, wait, why did I put time scaling with this? Because that's like, oh, if we make the game slow motion. Oh no, this was this was so if I pause, then it freezes this in case I don't disable the script. I guess, sure. And the vertical one is the same. Like, these used to be together, but just because I wanted this input forward thing is like only affected by the horizontal turning, but not the vertical one. That's why I separated those bits of code. No, you're the, where's the, oh, you're different because one needs to worry about going over 360 and the other does not. Yes. And you're just affecting a different axis, but why? Can you be a normal update? I just wanna, late update. Because you're just turning and not, being just a rotational thing and not a position thing. I just wanna see if I can get away with it. That looks like I can, yeah, good, I guess, sure, why not? So that, like, sort of smooths out that problem, but I feel like it doesn't properly fix it. But if it works good enough for now, it is something I can address later on. Because in terms of things that I can do later, changing stuff about how the camera operates, I in theory can do. Changing anything in how the player operates is dangerous. Once I have a full level built and is working, changing anything about like the player's move speed can potentially break the entire level, have to readjust like gaps and stuff, and could be a big pain. The camera, if the camera follows faster and slower, like in theory unless I make some super big fundamental change with how the camera works, it shouldn't affect it should affect the prettiness of the gameplay and how easy it is to like go through the level, but it shouldn't make me have to rebuild a test level in theory. There's like exceptions to that, but it's like way less likely, I think, as compared to changing anything with the player. Yeah, so that's why I'm more like fine to push camera problems down the line as long as it bare minimum works. But player stuff, ideally, I get good. Other than visual things, but changing any visual stuff with the player, like with animations, could then come at the cost of like, oh no, I don't know, something with this animation, like now the player needs to move slightly faster for it to work properly, or something weird like that. I don't really see coming up, but I guess in theory could. But anyways, okay, so that's. Cameras are just fine enough for now when it's on flat ground. It breaks completely when it goes up slopes and stuff, like when I turn back on the slope code or the zooming in code, but we'll worry about that later. So the next thing that I want to do is if I go into any other scene that's supposed to use the player, actually before I do, let me just apply, right buttons, apply this stuff and then go in here, and then I want to also apply everything on this player, and oh right, that changed. But okay, let me just to show my point. If I go into this scene, this is supposed to be our hub world for the demo of the game, and this is going to be a level in the demo, the second one. If I go into here, everything breaks. The hub world, because as another reminder, how I want my sort of hub world to work in my game is that through additive scene stuff, be able to have multiple scenes loaded at the same time. I want, when you're in a level, you can physically see the hub world way up high in the distance. It's loaded in, and levels loaded in. Now, when we get to, like, going for performance and whatnot, it doesn't mean that everything's all operational. It could be, like, low poly model of the hub world in the distance or something like that. But it should be there physically, like, you can see it. It's not just, like, a faked image or something. But the reason for that is that when you then leave a level, you get shot out of a cannon and you fly over to the level and back to the hub world, and then you land there, and then you're in the hub world. And then from the hub world, you choose a level. Because it's this flying thing, it's like it flies away and then flies into the new level. From the hub world, you then see a level down there, and then you get in the cannon, and you get launched, and then you land in the level, and then you go. So we have this hub world transition system where there's no like loading screens. You have control of the player the whole time, and you go from level to hub world flies to new level, and then from hub world back into level. So because of that, we have hub world and the active level loaded at the same time. Now, this, oh hey, I can move around. I couldn't used to move. I used to not even be able to move around in this. Right now, the hub world and the level are like fused together because there's code that the hub world is expecting to exist that just straight up doesn't. Oh. Yeah, so there's, in any scene other than that player testing scene, there is a ton of stuff that is just broken. Which I think the most common thing is other objects being like, hey player, let me grab that script that used to exist on the old player. Oh wait, it doesn't? Everything breaks and explodes. So I think we start by just getting that functional. Just getting it so I can press play in this scene and have everything not just completely break. So, and then from here, then we can go further into repairing levels, getting the UI back working, and then everything with that. Sort of a bunch of stuff that used to work with the old player, getting them to work again. I also just remembering that, yeah, tight ropes exist. I keep forgetting that that's a thing. The player should be able to handle tight ropes, but I don't think I'll be programming right now. This is gonna be a whole thing that might wait until the main, moving on the ground player is a bit more, we get more of those bugs figured out and is more stable. And then even stuff with the camera. The camera no, the camera shouldn't be that bad on tight ropes. Anyways, so yeah, so I'm just gonna, I see we have errors. I'm just gonna go into play mode in this scene, and then we're gonna look at the first error and figure it out. No. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. Before I even go that far, I want to start. Yeah, in this scene, because the player is like getting closer to being functional, I want to start deleting. Because part of the problems might be because of some of this other stuff. So, well, this is old stuff. This is gonna cause me issues. Hopefully not. just to be safe, okay, I'm gonna do some. I do have like source control and stuff on GitHub, but just as a backup, I'm gonna go player testing, backup, and then in this scene, save, yeah. I'm gonna then say make this not a prefab anymore, just unpack completely. Yeah. So the only reason I did that, just so I have all these collection of objects to like reference if I need them for anything, or I need to look at like how anything was set up. But now I'm gonna start gutting out old stuff. These are the old player and the old camera pivot. Bye. Now so another thing, just to, as I'm explaining how stuff used to work that we're trying to get functional again. Another thing that I do that's good for performance is I have this prefab called Player Don't Destroy. The name maybe could be better, but it's essentially to when I load into any other level, you may notice that in this level, there's no player here. In this level, there's no player here. When I go into play mode, the first thing I do, yeah, this player spawn thing, it spawns a player and does stuff with that. And I do this because, so that when I'm when I'm in the hub world and I want to dynamically load a new level, oh, Francisco, hello. Did you get a haircut? That I did, yes. My hair is gone. It's shorter now. Yeah. I did do that, like, what, 2 days ago or something? Yeah. And then also, very nice, flying kill. Also, you may notice that, bam, I sound a bit different, and that's because I have new microphone, new technology. Yeah, let me have things not be broken. I have the microphone that the real guys had now. Oh, dang. Yeah, so, I can't move this, can I? Don't unplug me by accident. Nope, I cannot get this in view of the camera. Never mind. I got the same one but silver. Very cool. Yeah. I guess I didn't care much about like colors. I just got, you know, what I was able to get. I actually I don't know how much moving this is creating a lot of like noise, so apologies. But what was I gonna say? Yeah. So I did some shopping close-ish to Black Friday, but not Black Friday yet. But there's lots of places that were kind of doing early Black Friday stuff, and there's kind of some sales and whatnot that I was able to do. Yeah, I did some upgrades. So new microphone that sounds better than old one, and it being a proper microphone, it has the whole like these cables and XLR cable rather than just going straight to like USB-C. That goes into an interface thing. The one I have is called a Volt 1 that has buttons and dials on it, but it's like small and like simple-ish. And then that comes out as a USB-C thing that like USB thingy that, you know, goes into my computer properly. That in OBS, I've actually gone about over here. Hold on, blah, over yeah, and blah. Nope, not there. Where am I trying to go? I'm trying to go over here. I did mess around with some audio filter stuff. Although this isn't doing like that much, but it's doing a little bit to make it sound slightly better and remove noise and blah blah blah. Got a whole upgrade, nice. Yeah, other smaller things. I got a new keyboard that's like quieter, so less clickety clackety clack sound. So that would be more bearable. And then also while I was at it, I got new headphones that sound better and whatnot, and they happen to be white. So yeah, coolsies. Yeah, I upgraded a bit. Anyways, yeah. So that's cool. I'm moving up in the world. Next, because it's also like I don't buy a whole lot. This is like, oh, I'm, you know. And one, I have a job where I'm, you know, at my computer basically all day. So stuff like keyboard, I can technically use this as this can be a business expense in terms of I use it for my job. So that's funny. Microphone's like a stretch, but technically I do talk in meetings every single day with said microphone. So it's like close as with headphones. So I have an accountant, sort of, or a family member who helps me do my taxes, who would like know better about this kind of stuff. But there's things like my desk and like my monitors, 100% I was able to that's not tax write-off, tax. There's a difference. There's a difference in terminology. I forget which one. There's one where it's like you get it. No, I buy the thing, but I don't get it for free. It's just when I do taxes, it becomes ever so slightly cheaper. Not free, it's ever so slightly cheaper. That one, whatever's the proper term for that. My level 100 mafia boss, yeah. My contract ended, so I gotta get searching for a new job soon. Oh no. Technically, I am a contractor. But by yeah, whatever definitions, blah blah blah. But I'm like full-time. I'm still a full-time employee, and very likely my contract to be getting renewed every year or whatever. So I'm not as much. Yeah, my job is stable, I guess. Although I am still technically a contractor or whatever, but yeah, but best of luck to you. I hope you're able to find, no wait, first of all, you said before, I believe you work at Canada's Wonderland, right? As a ride operator, I believe. So being tax credit, you mean? Maybe, I don't know if I'm using the right words or whatever. No, is tax write-off not the right word? Or it's not, I don't know. Tax I don't remember. And also, it's been like, you know, a year almost since I did taxes, so I don't remember. I figured out and did the right stuff then. It's all gone and out my ears now, but I'll be figuring it out again in a couple months, so yeah. I know what you mean. I had the same thing for my promotional tickets. Cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. There was something else I was gonna say and I have forgotten it. But yeah, taxes, complicated and difficult, especially when you're a so when you have you know, a job at like, you know, McDonald's or whatever, you get like T4s and all that. Me being a contractor, and potentially the same for you, there's a lot more stuff you do with taxes that's a lot more manual, but that's fine. So it wasn't like that. Wasn't that bad. Anywho. It was worse when I was like in school and had to deal with like exams and taxes. That not a fun combo. Why does, I mean, I know you can do taxes early. You can do them as early as like February-ish, and I'm thinking this year I'll finally actually do my taxes earlier rather than like last minute. Why does taxes gotta be like, so when taxes are due at like the end of April, also gotta be college university exam season when you have bajillion final exams and whatnot. What do I do automatically? Thankfully, very cool. Yeah. So let me go into depth on my taxes. Want my social insurance number too? No. No. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, want to see all my... No. Anyways, I do know that I'll be paying more in taxes this year, because last year when I did taxes, I didn't work for a full year because I got out of school and then got a job, worked half a year, and then taxes happened. This year it'll be I had worked a job for a full year. So also, when you're in school and you're paying tuition, there's stuff with when you pay tuition that allows you to then pay less taxes. I don't get that anymore, so yeah, tax is gonna be expensive, but I'll be fine. Yeah, the perks of having a super extremely busy job where I'm busy almost 24/7 when I'm not streaming has some perks of that. I'm financially stable, I guess, but also I don't buy a whole lot anyway. Like, I'm financially stable because I don't make a whole lot of, like, I was about to say unnecessary purchases, but I did get this microphone. Beyond, like, the most expensive things I get are stuff like the microphone, the headphones, the desk and stuff like that. Beyond that, I don't, you see, I have a blank wall behind me and I don't have all posters and plushies and whatever merchandisey things. I don't know. That's just, it's like, I could spend money on a thing to put on my wall that looks cool, whatever, or I can spend my money on things to make my life easier. Well, the keyboard's just quieter, still a keyboard. More like, blah, the faster computer so I could do my job more efficiently, saving, like, buying back hours of my life and stuff like that. I don't know, that's, yeah. Anywho, what I do, I've had this water bottle for so long that the bottom is all like coming off. That's next purchase is getting a new one of these. In terms of actual like future stream upgrades, at some point I want to do something about my lighting situation. Not super great. I've considered getting a green screen, but I don't know if I want to do that because, well, the number one thing where I'm like, oh wait a minute, I didn't think about this is, well, that I I own a lot of green shirts, so if I get a green screen, then like that might have issues. And then it's like, oh, you don't have like if you don't get a green screen, another common thing you get is a blue screen. It's similar, but it's different. It's like, well, more than green shirts, I more so own blue shirts. All of my shirts are either like, you know, black, white, or gray, like, you know, monochrome, or they're blue, or some shade of blue, or there's some shade of green. That's like all my shirts. So it's like, that's a problem. Yeah, so there's that, but then like, yeah, lighting wise, you know, the only lights I got going on are the random lights above my head. So additional problem with that. So with microphone, it's like, oh, to upgrade microphone, you just get new thing and you plug in all this stuff and like whatever. With lighting, I gotta figure out like, okay, if I'm getting lighting related things, I need places to put the stuff and, you know, plug them in and whatnot, and potentially get extension cords and whatnot. So that's like a lot more like figuring out how to best use the space. I've considered moving my desk to just a different spot in my room to potentially get better lighting and whatnot. And then camera stuff as well. At some point, I'd potentially like to get a new camera, but not anytime soon. I'm like, I made my expensive purchases for now. I'm gonna wait a minute. Like, I'm good. Oh, anyways, enough about money things. I'm here to program camera thing. No, not camera stuff. Program unicycle things. So let's get back to that. Let me move this a little bit. Good. Okay. So where were we? When I go into play mode in this, everything all completely breaks. There was something I was rambling about right before this, how I was explaining, why there's no player in the scene, because when I'm dynamically loading, multiple scenes, when it's like, oh, you know, deload this level, load this level. If I had a player in every scene, then I'd have to load that player to then, because of singleton stuff, then immediately delete it. It's like, oh, that's a waste. Instead of loading a bunch of objects to then delete them to keep, there can only be one, let's just not load that stuff in the first place. Only load one player and then never load another. So that's why every scene does not have a player in it. It just has a player spawn thing. And then, yeah, then spawns that player. And then if it goes, we go to load a new scene, say like the hub, it also has a player spawn thing. Then it's like, oh, is there already a player? Yes, then don't spawn another one. That's my way of handling this particular instance of a kind of singleton design. I don't know if it counts as a singleton, because like, the singleton programming design pattern is more like, here's one thing, if another comes into existence, delete it. I'm doing a variation of that where I'm stopping another thing, another version from coming into existence in the first place, so I don't know if that counts, but whatever. Whether it counts or doesn't, it works for my game specifically and is slightly better on performance. But then, because I don't spawn the player in until runtime, if I want to actually test things with the player, that's why I have this player testing scene where it doesn't have a player spawn thing, it just has the player there. And then additional thing on top of that, I don't just spawn the player, so this here is the player. I also have all this stuff with the camera pivot, the canvas that has all this UI and whatnot on it. I actually spawn, then this transition curtain that goes in front of the camera. All these things are bundled in the package of being important for the player and stuff that is going between scenes. So it's this whole package that gets moved around. Player don't destroy. I don't like the name of that. The only reason it has that name is because it calls the don't destroy function that makes this not get deloaded. Let's rename this to like blah, rename the actual thing. Player singleton. Whether it actually technically counts as a singleton or not, it's not important. Player stuff. Player and friends. Player and more. Whatever, it's not, names don't matter, it's fine. Anyways, thing I was about to say is that in this scene, we still have this old camera pivot. Back when I remade the camera pivot, I need to, fix that. So in here, this also has nested prefabs, which makes things a bit trickier, but it works. So within this player singleton prefab, there's then another prefab that is the player itself. And then there is a prefab that is the old camera pivot. I didn't make the new camera pivot into a prefab, so we're gonna do that. You renamed you all to... because I don't want to delete this one just yet. We'll call this one player camera pivot old. You can go by, and then you can exist. You're the new one. Yes, just making sure. I don't want to delete things that I don't want to delete. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, while we're at it, actually, before I go any further, in terms of getting some stuff functional, one thing that needs to be functional is the UI. So let me turn back on the sprites camera and the UI camera, and then I'm assuming I'm going to go into play mode and get errors because of those? No. Okay, never mind. Well, actually, I know that I think I remember the pause menu used to have issues, and so I disabled code. I think I disabled some pause menu stuff, but we'll worry about that in the normal scenes. Not everything is kind of really functional in this, or is really meant to be functional. So, okay, we're just gonna go to a proper scene, and now go into play mode here, and be like, everything's erroring. Oh yeah, everything's black and white in this scene just because, the submarine scene, the post-processing stuff on that, when I was prototype building this level, I just turned down the saturation, because I wanted to try, when I was building this, like, build the level in black and white, get the lighting to look good in terms of the contrast and shadows and whatever. If I can get it to look good in black and white, then it'll look even better in color or something, was kind of what I was thinking when I was just starting to make this, even though we haven't done, like, any graphical stuff yet. But we'll get there. So that's why it's black and white. It's a temporary visual thing while I was building it, but yeah, not super important. Okay, so first thing that is erroring, the cannon. Yeah, we're just gonna go top down. When I go into play mode, there's a bunch of errors of things that are expecting certain code to be on the player, so we want to not do that. Okay, so a lot of things are expecting the script called player lean move. That is the old moving code. So we're just gonna, the player lean move is the old player move code that I haven't deleted yet, just to keep it around. Player move is the new moving code. I think that's gonna be a lot of what we're changing, is just changing player. Oh, wait. Do you have an instance set up? I should double check that. Yeah, you have you, and I set you up properly. Yeah. That's just, in this case, there's only one player, so I can just do this and be confident that this is gonna do what I want. Bring me back to that cannon. Oh, also, just to keep things easier. So this was the thing from yesterday. That's the thing running down there. We're just gonna close this Unity scene for now, because just make things easier. Was that the only issue? Do a player dot find. That's not ideal. Why do you get the unicycle? Oh, because oh no, this is stuff. Remember how at the beginning of the stream, how I said, oh, I can't solve this issue with how the player turns, so I'm going to sort of band-aid it for now with this other solution so that I don't have to deal with the problem. It might cause problems later, but we'll worry about them when we get to them. Immediately, this cannon, with how this cannon turns the player. There's ways around it. It's not the end of the world. I think I fixed it, but it's technically an issue that's now sprung up because of how the turning has changed. But we're not going to worry about that right now. It's not. It's only going to cause issues when we interact with cannons. So we'll get there. Next thing, player spawn. So just, yeah, a lot of just. Whoa. Camera turn, that's also different, right? Camera turn is the old camera turning code. Why do you get it? Wait, that was the player spawn gets a reference. This is, I believe this is cheating. I believe I want this to be, or in that, so player move is just get a reference to the player. The script player move is on the parent thing of the player. So if I want to get the player's position, this is good enough. Camera turn thing, I don't specifically care about camera turn. I just want the position of the root level thing that is the camera. So that's going to be, I think camera follow is now the root of the camera. So yeah. We'll see how far I can get by just reading the errors, making one simple change, and then having stuff work again. But for now, yeah, we're just letting the errors point the way. Look at camera. Look at camera? Oh, this is code on, like, UI stuff to face the camera. Or specifically on these guys. These bits of text, have them face the camera. So you don't have a reference? Wow. Camera.main is supposed to get the main camera. Is the current camera that I have in over here not your tag isn't main when it, you know, should be. Unity has a thing where the camera that's tagged main camera kind of has special stuff where you can go camera.main and it gets this one. Although you aren't a prefab, and I don't know if you should be. You're gonna have this other stuff set up eventually. Yeah, you're gonna. I'm gonna make you prefab real quick. Player. Main camera. Hold on. We'll do it by going like you and then you and then you and then you. Some of this other stuff might also want to eventually be prefabs, but not right now. It's fine. Alright, this is going good so far. It's like a lot of issues to fix, but it's very doable. I'd much rather be doing this. This is like easier conceivably just be like, oh, working through these problems one by one, solving all these little issues, rather than currently fundamentally the camera is broken with how it rotates on slopes, and trying to just conceive how to fix that is being quite a challenge. This is considerably easier. And stuff I'd rather be doing on stream. Oh no, there's still an issue there. Okay, I assume that you're the issue. Let's put in a breakpoint, and now I guess see, just confirm the fact this is still doing that. I didn't actually double check. Hold on, let me double check something. I made changes in the player testing scene. I didn't actually commit them to the singleton. I did not. Okay, yeah, that would do that. That's an important step. You also change stuff. Just make sure everything's applied. Otherwise, why do you have an issue? Oh, you have the issue of because the. Right, you're fine. Okay, you're fine. Okay, you're good. You have references to other things there. As long as this parent singleton thing, as long as that's applied, then that's fine. It's all good. Everything's fine. Okay, next issue. Hey, so many of them are gone now. Good. Next issue is just another this. So these are all the, so far, like, these are the easy bugs where it's like, oh, it's just null reference thing, put in the proper thing, whoop-de-doo. Once we get through these, then things might start getting a lot more difficult. Unreachable code, oh, is that, or, oh, wait, that's because stuff that I commented on before, I think. Hey! Okay, no longer fused. Good. Let me get rid of the black and white real quick. That doesn't need to, this doesn't need to be a thing here right now. What's doing that? That's gonna be this. And that is, yeah, let's just do that. Wow, look. Color! Back over here. I should also test going into play mode in this scene and going into play mode in the other scene just to make sure they both function good. There's definitely gonna be a ton more that's not functional, but, you know, first glance, hey, I can go into play mode. I'm guessing this will not work. Nope. Can I pause? Also, nope. Okay, so now we, what do I want to fix first? Pausing, I think, just, I don't know, because that's the thing I chose. So I need to find the pause manager, pause UI. I think before I, yeah, right, yeah, I temporarily just, like, made it do nothing, because, yeah, causing issues. So we're gonna undo that. Okay, cool. I don't think this I don't know if this pause menu will work properly in the others in the player testing scene, but it doesn't need to, and it's fine if it doesn't. What up, Professor? Hello, Puffin. Hello, welcome, welcome. We are working on my game, The Handyman with the Unicycle, fixing a lot of things that are broken with it. With the stuff we've been doing recently, with tearing apart the player and rebuilding them from the ground up. The player has become massively broken with, like, the rest of the game, so we're sort of fixing it all. Mainly a lot of stuff that expected things to be on the old player that aren't on the new player. That's just causing a bunch of issues. So yeah, just, even though this new player isn't done yet, it's like he's moving. He's capable of moving enough that, yeah, I just wanted to do this next. Okay, so next issue is of many things. Let's do this. So touching this is supposed to go into a thing where the player freezes and yeah, it does a bunch of stuff that I see are not happening here. Hopefully it's as easy as this. Just saying, you were trying to reference old player code. Oh shoot! Right. Okay, now we get to things being more difficult. The new player code does not do anything with these overriding inputs. Okay, so for now, as a test to see if this is the only issue, because it's not a matter of just re-putting in these, oh no. It might not just be a matter of putting in these variables, like how they need to work with the new player code might be very fundamentally different from how they were before. I'm just gonna try just disabling that stuff and see what happens. So if it works, so it's supposed to freeze the player and then do stuff. It's gonna not freeze the player, but I'm hoping that it still does the other stuff it's supposed to do. That is a no. And you, right, and then you try to disable all the camera stuff. So we're gonna temporarily, you don't, yeah, we're just gonna just do this temporarily. Oh boy. More issues. You had an issue in this function where, just tell me where exactly. Down here. Player lean move. Yeah, no. I'll do this. Okay, if other things need to know the velocity of the player, I'm just gonna temporarily do a hidden inspector. And yeah, I could set up more complicated get and set things, but I'm not going to for now. I'll do the bare minimum to get it to work. Yeah, because that's gonna hide out up there. I could even make it static. Maybe. Okay, blah. Still not quite. I guess that was not the only issue. Yep, more of you. More of you that I should have seen beforehand. These lean direction things, like this is what's gonna be a pain. But yeah, so again, something I'm not worrying about right this second. This is stuff that's meant to force move the player to a certain spot. Or, yeah, not worrying about that right now. Okay. What next? I'm not seeing quite what's next. 116. I missed one. No. I can just skim the code just looking for any other. Yeah, this is gonna cause issues. Move camera to info angle. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, a lot of this is gonna be a pain because so many things work so fundamentally different now. Changing this to camera follow. It can be a temporary solution. Yeah, because as I said, camera turn.instance was getting the root level thing of the camera. Now that script isn't used on the current camera. Going camera follow.instance is going to be effectively the same thing. Oh, I see more stuff here. I guess I'll just do this now. You don't do anything with the lean direction yet. You will eventually. Yikes. And even some of this I might might be better to generalize. There might be a lot of cases in the game, especially in like cutscenes and whatnot, a lot of cases where we're gonna want to hijack the player and tell them to move to a certain spot. And a lot of places where I currently have that, I'm sort of doing it manually each time. So I probably should write some code that lives on the player that other code can access and be like, hey, you hijack the player movement and move them to this spot. And same with the camera. Be like, hijack the camera and move it over here. That's stuff that I should kind of, yeah, put in on the camera, or the camera itself and on the player itself, or some third-party thing that manages all that then these scripts call, rather than trying to do it all internally. And to some degree. That might not be applicable everywhere, but... Okay, this whole thing, jeez. We're gonna go... Oh wait, you're the everything. Who knew? If you fundamentally change stuff with the player and camera, that then some things don't work so good anymore. Who knew? Yeah, we're just gonna keep disabling things until things can kind of fix themselves. And then this, so much. Oh wait, no, yeah, you're still We'll eventually get all this working again. I just want it to stop erroring for now. Have that be like the bare minimum, and then build back up from there. Even, I guess those are still... Are these used on stuff? We're gonna find out. Respawning doesn't currently work. That's a thing that kind of... Oh god, should have higher priority than this thing. Why is the player jittering like that, of all things? Which thing is jittering? Is it the player or the camera? It's the camera. Fair enough. Mystery solved. So this is the new camera code fighting with this thing that's supposed to force the camera. So we won't worry about that. That's what I'm going to call good enough for right now, because I don't want to mess with the camera code right now too much, because I'm still working on the new camera system and might be continuing to fundamentally change how it works. So ideally, yeah, we focus on non-camera issues for now. So next thing I want to just test is if I fall off the level, I should respawn. Let's see if we can do that first. Or do that next. Yep, it's going to continue to be removing these things. And you... Ugh. I don't have anything set up for taking away of and bringing control back to the player. And this player ground check stuff I don't even use anymore. Gah. Right, I knew that there was going to be quite a bit to get working again, but yeah, it's a lot. Unsurprisingly. I hope I'm going to remember. I realize that if I'm commenting out a lot of this code, I'm going to need to remember what to come back to then uncomment out, but we'll get there. I'm sure I'll see stuff like right now. Yeah, right now I can see that, oh, when I fall off things, it's not working quite right, so hopefully I'll see it later and be like, oh yeah, that's something I have to come back to. Okay. How about now? Oh, I don't like not getting errors. The curtains never did curtain things. Why? I mean, also just, while I'm just... I kind of want to work from, like, the easiest things down. Let's start here. Going in here. Or let's be especially a lot of things that don't have to do with moving the player. Like the hub world and this stuff that sets up, like, the objectives working again. Back. I mean, hair in my mouth. This end spring. You... Look at all this math that we did a long time ago. Jesus. No, thank you. I believe there's a lot of Googling that went into that. Oh, boy. So yeah, first thing is just... I want to be careful if there's any of these that I don't want to replace, but I'm letting this sort of autofill kind of do its magic. Okay. And again, we don't have set up these get input and override input things. We'll get back to it. Whoops. Didn't need to do that. Okay, so as a start, is that objectives text, like, turned wrong? Not 100% sure. Might be easier to tell. Oh boy. Might be easier to tell in, when there's actually the objectives there. So, the objective stuff isn't set up in this scene, I don't believe. Let's now try going back to my old demo stuff over here. No, not that one. That's the old stuff over here to this scene. Yeah, this scene's gonna start to have all these other mechanics, like hazards and stuff, that we're gonna want to get back, working. Oh, you are 100% turned, weirdly. Why? The, strikes look like they're fine. Oh, and also, finally, I don't have to... Now that I've moved my webcam so that, like, I'm not covering the top right corner, you guys can finally see the strikes existing, rather than 90% of the time, like, when I'm in play mode, they're behind my head. Unless I move to the other side and then block the objective stuff. Okay, so can it be an easy fix to just be like, why are the objectives wrong? Why are you, like, there? Where's... okay. Camera, UI camera, HUD UI, strikes. There's... I do it like that. Oh, right, of course I do. Right, yes. Yes. That's not gonna change the dimensions of it. The, these are 3D objects that are flattened and against this sort of UI camera that we have that are rendered on top. This stuff is just text, so it's on a normal canvas. Actually, it's on screen space canvas. Do you need to be on mute proper? Do you used to be set up properly? That looks right, I think. And given that... I think that's how they were set up before. Doesn't be perfectly one-to-one, although ideally it is. If that worked, that just means that on the prefab over here, open... Oh, we just gotta go camera pivot. So, canvas, use a reference of what camera to use, is gonna be... I guess I had it set up as UI camera before. Yeah. Oh wait, even in this scene, I was kind of seeing that stuff for a second until it went away. Even the power-up camera over there, which I'm still super on the fence of whether I'm gonna keep power-ups as just being a thing in general in this game. We'll see. We'll see. But for now, they're still here in this test scene. I kind of just keep forgetting till they exist until I'm like, oh yeah, they were a thing that I made back when this game started as a school project, and that was something I made for it being a part of that. But I don't know. Oh wait, that ooh, hazards almost worked. You didn't like this. Again, get input is not a thing right now. I could make it a thing soon. Soon. Okay. Going over here, touching a hazard. So I don't get stopped, but I'm spinning out. Now, unfortunately, another symptom of the fact that it's the parent player thingy that turns rather than the bottom part that's just a visual thing. It means that as I spin out, I can spin like that. Although, I guess I'm going to be locking the player movement while we're spinning out, so I guess you won't see it, but... I don't know, this was, part of my concern with... Because initially I wanted the parent game object to not turn at all, and it to be just the child that turns, so that it doesn't sort of multiply this turning. But, oh well, I guess for now it's fine. I can get hurt by these hazards too, yeah. Things that have nothing to do with the player should still be functional, like these hazards just shooting in general before they make contact with the player. these moving platforms. Player's not going to work on moving platforms, right? I have not done that with the new player system. The old player system, like, it has to, like, take the velocity of the platform and add it on to our current velocity. Yeah, so eventually we'll get there. And we'll see how much more complicated that gets when we have all the turning involved. Gee. Okay, what next? Can I do this? Oh. Oh. Not quite. So repairing stuff. Yeah, you're gonna, yeah. Maybe I should just, okay. Because there's so many of these get inputs, this is something I can do real quick. Is, in the normal player move, go, public, bool, oh, no, don't do that. Public move, get input equals true. I guess, well, I mean, technically, yeah, I'm gonna put it up here as be another thing that's like, only going to be sought out by other scripts. And then, in theory, get input is just a function, so I can just be like, don't call this function. If, then just return immediately. I could have get input be a thing of whether it calls this function in the first place, but I like this just being just the function calls, and inside it figures out what it's doing. So for now, that's an easy one that should fix it in a few places. Other than that, player lean isn't supposed to exist anymore. Maybe one thing I'll do that actually might just speed up some of these changes is actually going to the old player stuff, player old, and actually rename the script to, oh wait, oh, you are renamed. Wait, what? I have 2 player lean moves? Right, I think because when I first was going to change up the player, I just duplicated this script but kept this one, because at first this was just going to turn into the new player code, but then I ended up just making completely new player code from scratch. So I'm going to call it old 2 temporarily, and then we'll be deleting it soon. I just want to do this so that there is no player lean move at all anymore. So now I should just get all of the compiler errors of it trying to find player lean move, and it can't. And I can fix these all at once. Do I want to attempt just a search and replace across all of the code? Just go replace this for this. Yep, we're gonna try it, except specifically on you. Specifically on those guys. Replace it everywhere else. Yeah, lots of code. Lots of code. Being the player tightrope? Am I fine? Ooh, am I fine doing that here? I guess so. Yeah. Only issue is, yeah, oh god, yeah, the tightrope code is gonna have so many more issues. Now I'm like, also, do I even want to replace it? I will for now. We'll come back to it. Okay, oh, right, shoot, I just realized that I definitely do not actually want to delete the old player code just yet, because there's some stuff I want to extract from it for all the visual stuff of how the underlying player does a bunch of things. Okay, let's go through and save all of these scripts, which are then going to have new issues of it trying to get stuff that doesn't exist. Deal with those things. Okay, so now let me recompile. Got 66 things. Okay, override turn does not exist. Do I want to just... I mean, I could just like get input, I could temporarily just make the variable so that it exists, so that all this code stops complaining about it, but it's not doing anything, and you are a vector 3. Okay. Yeah, I said a vector 3. Yes, I did. And bag equals vector 3.0. You're not doing anything yet, but yeah. Do I want to do this for all of these? Well, these are functions, so yeah, we're gonna come back to the player tightrope stuff. So I'm just gonna disable all of this for like all those functions there. these guys. Ooh, flatten forward. Yeah, that's gonna. This is all gonna. I am fine making a reference to Unicycle pivot now because I know that's something that's definitely we're gonna have in this new player stuff. Basically, as soon as we start to do more of the visual things. So transform the Unicycle pivot. Actually, this will just be straight up not hidden inspector because I'm gonna need to drag a reference to it. Put another header that's like visuals because this will be for turning and whatnot. You already that one that would make sense. And I'm gonna I guess drag and drop that now. No, I'll do it after the stuff being compiler. Override input, why not have make that as well. And yeah, get input and override input are different. One stops input from it stops us just from getting input. Although I now realize that it shouldn't just return, it should make sure that set this equals vector 3.0. Otherwise it'll like lock in whatever the frame rate, whatever. If we were holding W and then this gets set to false, it'll pretend like we're still holding W because it'll sort of freeze changing what our input was. By setting this to 0, it will then actually even this should reset to 1. Yep. I'm resetting all the things. Yeah, then it'll act like we, effectively let go of the buttons. Okay. Lean deer. So this is also pure visual stuff. This I'm gonna comment out because I gotta see how this, what I end up doing with leaning, with the sort of new player stuff. Rack on the tightrope, flatten forward. This also is something I don't know. If I'm confident that it will probably be a thing in the new player code, then I'm making a variable out of it. With this, I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna end up being. Forward facing front. Oh yeah, that's all. Stuff we're just not gonna worry about right now. It's fine. New rotation. I don't remember why I have that variable called that. Oh, everything here is bad. I'm tempted to just kind of. We will come back to the tightrope stuff. Oh, you're gonna. I think I might temporarily just be like, we'll come back. We'll come back to all the tightrope stuff. Just this specifically, we're gonna not touch for right now. Oh wait. Things are trying to reference the tightrope? No. I will move this to just after you make your public variables and the instance thing. Three goes down to 3. Yeah. Come on. Again, we'll come back to this. And once again, the speed up thing is with the power ups. I don't know where they will stand in the current game, so disable them as well for right now. Okay. Now that that's like that, I want to go back to the player testing scene, and on the player prefab, I want to just drag and drop the unicycle pivot. But that transform is there. Okay. Where did you go? This. How's the dragon coefficient went down there? That's a thing I need to move. Blah. You're there, and then this, and then this guy over here. Where did I make a public variable that I didn't move around? That drag is more to do with it's falling related, so it's gonna go down here, I guess. Space there. Okay. Yes. So now back into, if I can find this. Okay, go into play mode without everything breaking. Objective thing looks kind of proper. Can I repair rides? The fix UI comes up. I just noticed that the circles go on top of the text. I guess that's fine for now. Oh. Hey! things are kind of working. Will I actually be able to do all the objectives? Oh, the fixed text goes inside of that as well. That should also maybe change a bit at some point. I don't know if that UI is like fixed. I don't know if that's how that should be. It's just a good enough for now thing to be like, hey, you're in range of fixing something. Ideally, in addition to that, we have like the character like pull out a wrench or something. You know, ideally there ends up being more of that. But okay, cool. We did the objectives. Can I touch? I'm expecting, because this hijacks a bunch of stuff with the player and the camera. I'm guessing this is gonna not work. It stopped moving the player and then got errors. Wait, where'd you go? 84. Here. Again, no current references to these things, but by not disabling these things, it's gonna cause other issues. It's gonna make it so that like the code that's attempting to turn the camera is gonna mess with that stuff. I also have cheat fail buttons. If I press plus and minus to auto win or fail level, do those still work? The win one did, the fail one did not. Actually, I don't remember if I can press both at the same time. Oh, no, okay, this also... We'll come back to this at some point. Blah. Cool. I can still turn the camera. That's temporary. Restart button. Yeah, that no work. Sure. Again, a lot of things just trying to mess with the camera. Because I don't really need to disable the drone fly thing, but that's... Eh. Just looking for this other stuff that needs to... Yeah. Turning off these scripts that aren't around. Well, I guess the zoom one technically is, but I don't want that to be flicked on and off right now. Camera, follow. Yeah. I will probably wait till more of the camera stuff is just figured out before I mess with a lot of hijacking the camera stuff. Okay, how about that? So, yeah, I don't know why the respawnings doesn't properly do. Okay, so progress, I guess. The fact that we could repair rides is pretty huge. We don't... before, the player would, like, freeze and then, like, turn towards the thing. That currently doesn't happen because that's a part of the code that we disabled. Oh, wait, oh, I can't... Oh, okay, no, movement does stop. That's part of it. Okay. But forcefully turning the player in a direction currently does not happen. But, progress. But I can effectively, do all the objectives part of beating a level. Yeah. This, it doesn't like it's competing with different bits of code competing with each other because I don't disable the code. I'm assuming touching this will do nothing because I disabled. Yeah. The tightrope just might as well not exist. Oh. How do you work? Oh, that's just because it's like, oh, when... I mean, you don't work well. Yeah, you do not work very well. That's going to be a little bit annoying. Oh, ha! The fact that I could slightly do that. Oh, boy, yeah, this... We'll come back to that. Can I touch you and... you do stuff? The speed up power-up is turned off, but in terms of the power-up, I guess, yeah, no, stopping me from taking damage. That's something. Can I repair this? I can't? Okay, okay. I know for sure that getting this cannon isn't going to work. I'm pleasantly surprised. I even turned the right way? How do you turn the right way? How are you turning the right way? Really? I'm surprised. I'm very surprised that that works. I mean, okay, I guess. Oh yeah, so also, the pause screen when you're in a level has an extra restart and back to hub button. Whereas if you're in the pause screen in here, it doesn't. The pause screen in general, I imagine, might change how it looks, but yeah, we'll get there. Touching these don't work. They, like, almost work. They work except for to say, oh, why How do you turn so weirdly? Oh, it's if I'm like turning the camera while it's going. Okay, yeah, it does not like that. Haha. Oh, I've moved off because I'm still in control of the player. Oh, it hates it. It hates all of it. Quit, get me out of here. Okay, so progress. I don't like how I'm getting this warning every time that because I'm going out of play mode, a visual effect that's trying to happen that doesn't have a camera to work off of. That's fine. It's not a real warning that I'll worry about. Okay, so next thing I want to test is does I want to get the curtain to actually whoosh whoosh again. Can I get does this work for launching me into a level and then doing the whole level start sequence while the UI comes on screen? I'm surprised. Cool. All right. So this is the stuff that I was hoping would be easy. Just getting the stuff to be functional again. That's everything to do with the player and the camera. That's not going to be not quite so easy. So that transition curtain, I think that's the next thing I'd like to. Well, see if I can. Anything that's to do with the anything that's to do with the camera, I don't know if I want to do right now. Let's see if I can just get this transition curtain thing to just be the most bare minimum functional. So why are you not working? And where are you? And what is anything to do with you? Do you just need? Is there a chance that you just need transition camera as another layer on you? And if this works, then I'll Hey! Okay, yeah, then I'll do it outside of play mode. Okay! Whew! Easy thing. Back over here. This. Open. This. One thing I'm gonna have to mess around with as well is what happens if you get in range of something to repair while you're like mid loop-to-loop or like, you know, on a wall. Like, how is that gonna work? Yeah, I'll have to figure out making the code be able to just handle that properly. Okay. Curtain. No, that's just over here. Transition camera, and then you should work. So this should also mean for falling off edges, that should work. So, I'll see if I can next do anything about the respawn thing. This, it's supposed to, you know, have me respawn back on land, but it kind of just doesn't. I'm assuming that's because of player-related code that fall respawn. If I search that, I think I can find the code. Yeah. Something in here that just, yeah. Oh! You don't have a player ground check instance, I think. Oh boy, oh boy. So for now, I'm gonna go just player move and player. I have check player grounded as a function. I don't know if that's gonna work, but you know, let's see. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, and it does successfully, like, put me a little bit away from the edge rather than right on the edge. Okay. Cool. Now, I want to freeze the movement when we're falling to our death. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. I like it. Neato. It's, you know, not supposed to work that way, but that's okay. It's cool. I guess I don't know. Test the in the hub world. That's doing stuff good. Could test. So even though the how this looks is all broken, being able to interact just with the buttons. Oh, the hub world takes off without me. It's all the way over there now, and I'm falling forever. Well, actually, I believe. Oh, yeah. I have some failsafe code that's like if. In theory, we escape the we escape the kill plane and we fall to like universal negative 100. I think may have put it at some number. Then it automatically puts us back to like the origin of the world. Oh, but we're frozen. And errors. skybox stuff. That's fine. Okay, something broke. Why? How are there 2 players? How are there 2 of them? No, that's... How did you spawn 2 players? We launch back up here. Oh, why is the camera sideways? It's not supposed to look like this. Oh no. Oh, and I'm frozen. I can't move. Everything's bad. Let me just take that camera and just kind of be like, sort yourself out. What? Why do you decide that you should still have that? How did you put yourself back to that? Oh, because it's you that should turn. And then camera's good. But why can't I move? Is it possible some of that code that I've commented out that I already am forgetting about, get input was a yeah, it just is. Okay. That's fine. That's from the fall respawn, yet it was giving input back to the player. I don't know how, but okay. Oh no, because I got rid of getting rid of it. Sorry, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Let me just Control F for this, but with slashes at the beginning, so I can find specifically the things of this that I previously commented out. Strategy. If it works, it works. Even these, you know what? I put those variables in, even though they don't currently do anything. I could still just, yeah, comment them back into existence. This is the activate level stuff. The follow could be disabled and then re-enabled in theory. Not doing stuff with the lean direction though. That's the one I'm skipping. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Any more? Seems like no. Not telling me. Well, that's fine. Okay, it's probably fine. Did that happen to, of all the things that I just went through in between and fixed, does that happen to wanna fix? Where am I? Landing and then okay. We're gonna ignore that the camera just does not happy with it. Where are you? Over here, and then this. What? Oh, okay. Like, why are you not fixing yourself? Because it pauses when things are frozen. Okay, we are getting back to functionality. Coolsies. I can launch into level. Fantastic. I'm surprised that we were able to get just repairing rides to be like, wah! Okay, it seems I spoke too soon. Why am I launching away? I wasn't over there. What? I think we've had this issue happen before at some point. You didn't wait for all rides fixed. It's like somehow I set off the wind thing? How? And now these guys are all, yeah, they're all broken now. I think? Oh, or fix yourself, okay. So it seemed like I set off the thing to, you know, oh, I want to level, go back to the hub world. But I, you know, shouldn't have been able to. I wonder if my guess is, I don't know, somehow. So when I'm in this, you know, if I press space, it's gonna press that continue button. Oh, let me try pressing restart, make sure that actually works. Yeah. My guess is that, I don't know, somehow this menu was still partially active, so I pressed space and it tried to press that continue button or something like that. So maybe I put in some extra failsafe to be like, oh, make absolutely sure we're not, you know, we're in that screen or something, maybe. I don't know. But again, like anything to do with the camera, well, I guess that's not really a camera thing, but even like something like that, I think I might want to kind of wait to come back to. Oh yeah, player freeze does freeze here, which does fix that rotation issue, kind of. Woohoo! Cool. This, if I want to get this back to being functional, I'm gonna have to like, this is gonna have to take in, so the stuff that gives the player momentum, this is gonna have to like hijack and be like, hey, give momentum. That we already, I was about to say there's a bit of that happens when we go off of ramps, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of it. I completely forgot that a whole thing that we want to do with the player that we haven't done yet is over in this scene. I completely forgot a whole thing that's supposed to be a thing with the player that currently isn't, is that when we go downhill, we should be picking up speed really fast, and that's currently not a thing at all. Whoops. Also, how do we fly through the air faster than we... Oh, no, right, because I made that thing on purpose. Yeah, we totally do fly through the air slightly faster than on ground. But that's not supposed to consistently be a thing. Or actually, now that other things have changed with the player, I might actually get rid of that. Possibly. Actually, yeah, it might look more consistent to... Because I know it's doing that. That's over... over here. Literally, I just put a... Yeah, I believe at this... If we're in the air, just give us more additional force, I believe is what that is. Or part of it, actually. No, wait, so that's the air movement bonus thing. Right. That's, so like, if I go off this ramp and then I'm, like, holding backwards, I still get carried along the ramp a bit. But if I'm holding in this direction, then there's the bonus, like the momentum of me being launched, but then it's being added on that is me holding this direction. That's what's making me get launched that much. Right. Yeah, that's a tricky one to mess with. Although I do have some variables I can mess with for this. That's this air input delay and this air momentum time. Let's up that to 1. In theory, these should be close to the same number, but well. So that means, yeah, that it takes long. It takes slightly longer now to get that momentum boost. Yeah. Okay, it's a little bit, but it's not as severe, so I'm more fine with it. Yeah. And I do this, I hold backwards, then yeah. Okay. Coolsies. Also, that momentum sort of goes down as we're going through the air, so if I can't climb up there right now because of the broken movement. But yeah, I did want it to be a thing where if I go downhill, I pick up speed, but that's harder. Now, some games that have this kind of momentum stuff would have like, oh, you go downhill, you gain speed, but if you go uphill, then you go uphill slower. I want to cheat and basically go downhill, go faster, uphill, same speed, just because it's more fun to not be slowed down that much. Yeah. But going downhill will make speed happen. So, but I don't think we're gonna worry about that right this second because there's other stuff to be made more functional first. How long have we been going? It is 10:48. I don't want to go too late today. Let's see, where is back over here? Nah. Are there other easy things I can fix? Because again, I preferably don't want to touch anything with the camera for now. Although, okay, well. Why are you jittering like that? Maybe I could, but I'm probably gonna. I think like if I do some of this, if I do it now. Oh, also wait, this. This is old stuff I can get rid of, I believe. Yeah. Because the player aligned to ground stuff is working pretty good right now. So yeah, that was some old stuff. A lot of this code that messes with that camera stuff, goes through is basically like, oh, disable all the camera movement stuff. I shouldn't have to do that though. Oh, right, okay. So, this is something I'm gonna need a new system for. Where, let me just find the player currently. So we have the camera pivot. That is all this camera pivot stuff, right? All of this. And then we have the camera being a separate entity beyond that. I want to make a system, and this is a good application of that system, I think, where I want to be able to set the camera to be like, so this is the player stuff. Why don't you just go and ignore that, pretend that these don't exist, and then, I hijack having the camera follow some other way of moving, such as all the stuff that, how it moves into a position for all of this UI. And then on the end screen it also moves into a position for that. So to get all this working properly, I believe I will want to set up that kind of a system, and I should, but I'm hesitant on even setting up that system when the camera currently doesn't fully work, and I don't know how much more, changing everything to do with the camera is going to happen between now and getting it actually working. I'm hesitant to do that work when it might all be for nothing, but I don't know. So in terms of next stuff, though, so okay, what is, in terms of what's next to be fixed up, there is, I'm surprised that we got the hub world to be as functional as it currently is. The player can repair rides again, so that's huge, I guess. So we can have our sort of objectives and be able to win a level, pretty much. We need, so tight ropes is a whole thing. It's gonna be tricky and difficult and yada yada. Not doing that today. I almost want to wait until even just maybe until more of the player visuals are ready, potentially. We got getting tight ropes to just be functional in general. There's on the player getting some of the visual stuff. Oh, that's a, you know what? That's a thing I can do real quick. Or can I? Hold on. Let me just go. Gonna just do a thing. Thing. Over down here. Oh, even this is code that is temporary placeholder stuff. Blah. I want to take as the player lean move. There's some of the visual stuff on. Are you not searching? No, this makes it harder to. This happen. I've seen this happen sometimes, and I have no idea why. Fine, I'll go open you manually. Blah. Where's you? Let me just try. I'm gonna close. Let Visual Studios close, and then reopen it. See if it fixes itself. If you could go a little bit faster, that would be fantastic. Why are you taking all day now? There we go. I just want, not the infinite respawn, I want the player lean move. This is what I was trying to get. So, we have, oh yeah, a lot of these functions, oh yeah, a lot of this is from, yeah, when I was in the middle of changing a bunch of stuff with this. So I actually don't want to go off of this version, I want to go off of this version of it. There's a bunch of functions here that are purely for visual stuff. This spin wheel, that turn was, some of the turn stuff can maybe come back. We'll see. Let's say turn, spin wheel, counter spin pedals, and bobble. Move platforms is important. We'll get back to that. We'll see how many of these functions I can just put back in the normal move code and have it all work without a ton of issues. So turn, spin wheel. Turn's gonna be the one that's probably the least likely to work. Spin wheel, counter spin pedals, bubble. I might I don't know, whatever. And I put all these in this apply visuals to sort of separate blah, like, I don't know. So I can comment just out that one function. In theory, eventually all of these should be in a separate script, player move, and then player, like, visual stuff. But for now, I want to see what of this is going to, oh god, all referencing a bunch of things that I don't have references for. I'm gonna worry about turn last. So ignoring that one. What did the rest of these need? So flatten velocity is, oh right, right. I calculate flatten velocity because if I just use rb.velocity, if I'm on a platform moving up, that gives me velocity. I want to say, like, what is my velocity relative to the ground that I'm moving on? Maybe I bring back that calculation. This calc flatten, it does, yeah, I calculate. Some of these might be useful. I'm going to bring them back real quick. But they're going to go down here with this stuff for now. So it's might not be a visual thing, but we'll see. Okay, so then I just want to go make these variables exist again. Flatten velocity, flatten forward, and deer of slope. And also just gonna dump these down here for right now. Okay. Floor contact normal. That is something I know that I have just under a different name here. Ground normal. Which, frankly, well, I was going to say floor contact normal is a better name. Both of those names are technically bad because, both of them are bad because if we're going up a wall, it's not really a ground normal or a floor contact normal. It's more just surface normal. But might change that. But it's fine. I'm more worried about functionality. Okay, where are you? Over here. So, curve moving platform. This, I'll make the variable for it because yeah, this is something we're gonna want eventually. Public transform. I believe that's what I. Is that? Let me double check that. Are you curve moving platform or are you? Oh, you're actually full on the script that you come from. Sure, why not? Wheel angle. That's a variable. We got wheel angle, turn angle, old turn angle. Jeez. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep bringing back these variables, dump them all down here, and then eventually sort them back into stuff. Wheel radius. Oh, and then even object references. Yeah, these I'm gonna need. Oh boy. No, bring back all of this. Yeah, angle's gonna be in there twice. Unicycle pivot's already up at the top. Wait, no, wheel angle isn't here. Well. Lean offset direction. This is something that I'm not currently doing anything with? Oh. That's how I do that? That's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that a bit differently. If we're on the ground, otherwise, yeah, this is fundamentally, very fundamentally different. This is if we're leaning forward or back. I'm gonna need a better calculation on that. For now, we're just gonna kind of dump in, do this version of that, and then idle versus moving. We're gonna go flatten velocity, and maybe, but then it'll have to be less than like some other amount. Just try those things. Now, an issue is I had a bunch of public variables that don't have actual values attached to them, so I'm gonna have to go figure out what those are, which is why it's good that I kept that out of the scene around, so I can go look at the old player and figure them out. Actually, I'm gonna do that first. Old player has all of this. Let me just screenshot this entire script. Go into Paint. Just paste that over on my screen so like I can see it still off to the side. Go to the current player stuff, and then I guess I'll start with these references because they should all be the same. Head reference, wheel reference. Those might not even be necessary anymore. Where's wheel reference? Wait, no, wheel reference and then wheel pivot. They're out of order because unicycle pivot is up there. Never mind. Yep. Wheel pivot is just underneath here. And all these guys. Wheel pivot. Blarg. And then left pedal is called pedal left. Yep. And pedal right. There. And then these values, I'll start just by copying what's currently there. Bubble speed idle is 0. This is 0.0. I have a 0, really? 0.01, 15, and 0.05. Really? That? Okay, sure. Turning is I had turn speed as 0 when I was just disabling turning. I want this up to be like 10, I think. 1, 4, 20, 10.2. I expect to probably have to end up changing a lot of these numbers, but just having some numbers to sort of start with. And it's all not working. I see errors. That would explain why, probably. Player ground check old. Even your... So this, no, this is just, I have a check if grounded. Why do I have, why are these two functions that I have? Check player grounded is just the variable. Check if grounded. Okay, those maybe should be better. This is calculate if grounded. Calculate if grounded. This is like, you know, do the check once a frame, and then this is just continuously see the result for, and this is for other scripts to check. I could just have if. Yeah, just in here I can have if is grounded. Where was that? This is here. Yeah. What else did you have a problem with? Okay. Wow. Almost. Okay, there's that bobbing going on, which I don't know if that'll be something that I have on like a more polished player. Right now it just works good to like while there's no animation. If there ends up being like when we get animation stuff in eventually, oh, I don't like how it just freezes like that. Eventually, if we have animations and stuff, might like have going up and down be a part of the animation itself or something. We'll see. Come back to that. The wheels are turning. Yeah. Okay. I don't have the going backwards. Yeah, that's not working because that's what the turn script is for. Okay, it's a start. Now, yeah, as I said, if I were to now uncomment this turn code, I imagine this is going to have issues. Yeah, lean rotation. This is just ground normal, but what are you used? You're just ground normal. Where is lean rotation used in old code? You are calculated there. Where are you used? What? Oh, you're just calculated so that other scripts can reference you? Is that and see what you are? Maybe I'm gonna try commenting it out completely for right now. Maybe the tightrope code might use that. I'm not sure. So this also isn't working. Again, the player's supposed to like be capable of, if I do this, start pedaling backwards. But That's just a thing that I wanted to be a thing, because Unicycle. So, and if it's not doing anything, so there's basically no reason for it to be commented out right now, but... I'm just looking at also now in the air. Yeah. And whether the wheels should or shouldn't turn in the air is just like, oh, we're flying through the air, so it doesn't actually matter, but yeah, for now they spin, just because. The human characters' like feet don't move with the pedals right now, obviously, just because the person's a placeholder. It'll eventually not be, but eventually I'm gonna want those feet to turn with the pedals as well, which I don't know how that's like how I'm gonna make that work, because I gotta figure out, because if I want right now the pedals themselves turn through code where it's based on like the speed, your speed and whatnot. Getting the feet to line up with that, you know, meshing animation and code for like human stuff like that, that's gonna be tricky, but hopefully we'll figure it out. That will require some intense Googling. Okay, so, but the bobbing is there, but it doesn't like it snaps, right? Currently it, where is it? Over. Oh, the turn doesn't actually get called. Oh, that would, yeah, ha, that would cause problems. Yes. Where is this? It either does one thing or another thing. It snaps between them, so makes sense that it's gonna not look quite so good. Let me just temporarily put hold on. No, you. Just put these numbers like closer to each other, so like there always is a bit of constant movement. Now it's like less. It's still a thing, but it's like less obvious. Let me just quickly see something. Yeah, the speed. If I make the speeds the same and just change the amplitude, then they'll technically be in sync as a temporary solution. No, that didn't really help. Okay, never mind. We'll just... They'll be out of sync for now. It's fine. We'll come back to that later. Hey, okay. And are the wheels are turning backwards. Okay, okay. It doesn't have the same impact without the lean. But I'm also hoping to... I'd like to eventually get the leaning back. Because before, remember, the old player would, like, lean in to moving and whatnot. Even leaning backwards when moving backwards. The problem now, though, is the getting that to work with, you know, turning up slopes is going to potentially be an issue. Unless the leaning is purely visual, which is potentially doable. It just, yeah, it might make things difficult. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And then even like this going in the air where we have the players, you know, turning like that. Yeah, yeah, we'll see. A lot of nuances, that things that are just going to cause a lot of issues. But you know, it's getting there. It's progress. It is certainly progress. Just still a whole lot of things to still just figure out. But we kind of have turning in there. I now have to clean up all this code. So, okay, how much of this actually used things from the player move? Because as I said, I would like to have a lot of this just be part of a like player visuals or whatever. In fact, this is so, you know, independent from the above code, like it should just be separate code. So I guess it's better if I do that now rather than if I wait, then it'll be harder to do later. So player, am I just gonna call it player visuals? Player visuals, whatever. I might change the name later. Like move visuals, I don't know. For now, it's a name and it works. So we're gonna add that here. We're gonna bring it up here. And now we start copying and pasting stuff from point A to point B. So as I said, I want from, I guess, this function, all of these variables, all the way to the turn function, and then even this. And then, of course, this script's gonna reference, it's gonna reference the other script, but I should now also move around, like, a lot of these variables can move. What was calculate flat and you're in here? Reorder the functions based on the order stuff here. Oh, this is out of order, I think. That should be above. It should be the first thing that happens in the frame. So, rigid body and, like, yeah, and all this stuff is gonna need to come from the other place. So, did I copy or I did cut this stuff out. Okay, good. Anything in here that's currently not good? Get rid of you. You're dealt with in the other place. I need to make sure that this I'm just gonna now change to just being technically this could be normal update if this isn't using physics stuff, but a lot of this is referencing like, hey, what's our current velocity? So for now, you know, it's visuals. I'm just gonna put it in fixed update for now. And now ground to normal. So this is gonna be like player move dot instance dot. Whoa. This should also, I'm gonna do this now rather than wait. This should have the same trick of the I set up a lot of these instances of this class. And then void awake. Instance equals this. Good. Okay, so RB. Do I want to just do? I mean, I could go. I don't really have this. Yeah, the rigid body is public, so I'll just go. Well, I could have this get a reference to its own rigid body. I think I don't know if it's cleaner to be like have it all route through the player move. So this is gonna be the case for a lot of this. The unicycle pivot is being used by the player move, so I'll have it. Yeah, do that as well. Ground normal, that's gonna, I guess, now be a public variable thing that gets referenced. Now, I would eventually like to reroute ground detection all through separate scripts. We used to have in the old player, we had a player ground detection thing, so I'll probably, you know, route it through there again at some point. But for now, it's all in here. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, what was I just looking for? The ground normal thing. Ground normal here. B. Lick. Inspector. Not call stack. And because you're different, you're gonna now be like up there, I guess. Yeah, I'll clean that later. Okay. Override turn, that is something that's not really used, but it will eventually be used, so I'll put it in for now. Okay. Getting there. Technically this should use the, I guess it's gonna use that, whatever, it's fine. Blah, and then blah, and then blah. Okay. I'm gonna have to set up these numbers again. Darn. Well, I still have them screenshotted over here to the side, so it won't be that hard. We're gonna go 10 and 1 and 4 and 20 and 10 and 0.2 and this I changed to being, I think, 10 and 0.01 and 15 and 0.05. And then gotta drag these references in again. Oh well, it's fine. Wheel pivots. Left pedal. Right pedal. Okay, now will this should all work the same as before. Just it's cleaner now. Cool. Coolsies. Yep. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Who knew players are complicated? Very, very complicated. Woohoo! Especially like my specific player with all that extra rules it needed to have with all the going upside down and stuff. Well, we're getting there. Okay. I will double check that this is working in another scene. Make sure all that stuff got carried over properly. Yeah, yep, the pedals do be turning. And it did look a lot better when the player's leaning, but hopefully we'll get that back soon enough. And even just animation stuff. I don't know when I want to... Oh, you're slightly off the ground when you potentially shouldn't be. I don't know when I want to bring back... Or what was I saying? I don't know when I want to get to the point of actually try to make the player look better, go and make an actual person and animate them and all that. That's going to be also just a huge undertaking. Like making a human model for the player character is going to be extra hard compared to making a background character, like making a human as like a background NPC type person. Because just all the extra stuff that's going to be involved with making them functional for, you know, being the player and all the animations with that stuff, with like how the legs, having the legs move with the pedals potentially. Thing that's going to be also extra hard is, so for gameplay, I want the player to always be on the unicycle. I'm never going to have the player get off the unicycle and run around. But for cutscenes, I potentially might want the sort of cutscene version thing of the player to be able to get off the unicycle and, you know, potentially be walking around as part of the cutscene, then get back on. That's going to be super, super extremely difficult. But hopefully I can figure out how to make that work decently enough. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, so yeah, this do be all working, I think. Huzzah! I want to check another thing. The current player, first of all, is there anything to apply there? No, good. Current player still has this old code, this old ground detection. Why is the tightrope here? Because right, because here, this is where I had the detecting the ground and having this sort of box under the player. That's like, oh hey, we touch the tightrope, do tightrope things. Yeah. Our current player code does not use this whatsoever. Why is this stuff even commented out? I believe that's all temporary. Maybe I should get this back rerouted through the normal current player stuff. Let's just see if that's something I can conceivably do. Calculate if grounded. Well, I mean, there's gonna be some... Oh, right. Okay. There's gonna be some differences, but maybe if I can, you know, put all this in here. Alright, okay. Ooh. This... Ooh, right, this does get trickier. So this ground detection just worked off the collider. It's like, oh, if the collider is in the middle of being on some object that, you know, that counts for this, then we're on the ground. Otherwise, we're not. This works off of doing some raycasts. But it's not just like, you know, a normal character that raycasts downwards. It raycasts, you know, based on, hey, the fact that we're turned. But then it works differently if we are on the ground, or if we're just if we're just leaving the ground. Set up this air momentum bonus thing, and then this is, I think we're in the middle of, this is, we raycast down relative to the player, and that failed. And we didn't just leave the ground. Do an extra check going fully straight down to see that, like, if we're kind of sideways from the way that we had the velocity stuff going on, but then we hit, like, proper ground beneath us, that acts as sort of an override where we then turn to then be ground below us or whatever. But see, this is so intertwined with the player movement stuff that I don't know if it should go through this. Because where I have of this being off of the colliders now is, I almost want it to be thinner. That I don't want to, this wall here, I shouldn't be able to hit this and have it think that I've hit this and then start going up the wall. Although I guess that wouldn't happen if, it only does those tests when we're not grounded. If we leave the ground at all, like through a little jump like this, then we're sideways, then we can hit that, then that's fair game. You could go off any tiny bump and that can happen. I guess that's something I'm allowing to happen. But I guess Okay. I was hoping I could just quickly, like, boop, boop, combine stuff. It's potentially going to be a bit harder to do that than I thought. Should this calculate the air momentum bonus? Ooh. Huh. Okay, maybe just as a start, I can have this script do these same functions. And then maybe change it from there. So we'll do this. I'm gonna comment out you and you, basically have these guys do nothing. Actually, I'm gonna do it by commenting out their scripts, the functions, whatever. I'm getting tired, I can't even say the right things. First frame, site guard is to fall, sure. That stuff. Okay, so now if I were to save a ground normal, where is that thing? So here and here and where are you? Where's the ground normal? It's here. One by one, move these variables over, and then watch everything error that then has to be rerouted. We'll see how much I can get away with doing this way. Where was the other variable? I've lost it. The air momentum bonus, I'm not sure which place should calculate that. Ground layers, that will be over here, I guess. That's... Where is it? That, yeah, that's just that, so you're already good. Okay. Why do you hate that? You don't like you because you're... Yeah. We'll let you be public for now. Okay. So... In here... Yeah, the only... Can you use desired direction too? That's a thing that has to be on upper player move stuff. Maybe... Well, okay, void. This is void. This happens at fixed update. Oh, but now it might run out of order compared to the others. Well, I guess if it's off by a frame. This I apply in a certain order. It happens here. I guess if it happened after this, it's not a problem. Why do I? Oh wait, why did I pass in? Oh right, right. That's when I was messing around with switching between those. That doesn't need to be like this at all. Just fix that. Also, yeah, messing around with. Yeah, this does not need to be that way. It's very inefficient. Where's the rigid body? There. Also, you do. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. What was I thinking? This way. Okay. Fine. And you blah. So, this ground detection can happen anywhere in the frame. I'm thinking that. Well, I guess yeah. I can keep it consistent by saying this doesn't happen here. It will rely on player movement to call it, just so that I can confirm it happens when I want it to happen. And I'm fine with it happening before the drag stuff. So go player ground check dot that dot instance dot that. Okay, then I'll know for the rest of the frame that it's all good and consistent. Okay, so now the issue here is. Well, first, let's just solve one thing at a time. Anywhere there is now is grounded, that should then go player ground check dot instance dot ground normal. Let me just swap all those in. Same with is grounded, I guess. Okay. I think I'm gonna leave this here because for things that aren't the player, like possible enemies, hazards, camera stuff, or whatever, if they want to see if the player's grounded, having just this player move, check player grounded, and then this reroutes to the ground check, I think maybe is better. I don't know. Okay. So it's possible that to make this work, I might have to just go. I could go out. Vector 3 error momentum. bonus. And then out vector 3. Well, not even now. Just pass in vector 3. Desired. This. I'm just trying to pass in this. Although I don't know if it matters, but I'm gonna put that one first. Oh, you don't like that? Must be assigned to before control leaves. Can I just go vector 3.0? Compile time constant? You're not. Vector 3.0 is not a compile. Or are you just having problems because of this? I just take you out for 2 seconds. But really, you're not. If I go new vector, no, new vector 3, no. Stop trying to autofill with all of the wrong things. That's. What's your wait? No, yeah, you. Hold on, let me back up. I'm sure there's definitely something else weird going on here. That just. I go back to this and air momentum. Blah. This with this name is all I'm trying to do. If I just do this, then now things don't air for a minute. Then I should be able to go like 1 or whatever, right? Why not? You are having problems with brackets? Where? Am I blind? Or is it just because of you were able to go? If I go as a just a test, if I go int blah equals 5, that's allowed. So why is it not allowed with the vector? Why is that not a compile time constant? Do you have show fixes of how I can? Whatever, it's fine. I didn't need it that way anyway. So I have this. I just want this to be a thing that gets returned. I mean, I guess I could have it just return the vector 3 and then go return. No, I can't find it. Similar code to like similar things. That then means that this needs to actually go. You know, this I have airtime, but airtime equals, which then means wait, you don't need to be passed in, right? You don't do anything beforehand. Well, you know, you do there because otherwise you're not. What you are in the previous frame does matter. Okay. I guess this works. You're afloat? Oh, I didn't even pay attention to how you... Wait, no, you're not. What? Did I put in the wrong thing? Air momentum bonus. That would do it. Ha. 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 Okay. Whatever. Convoluted way to do something that should have been simple. I copy out, so blah, 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 blah. This, you do those checks now, and then it being passed back there, then the same going forward. Okay, I'm expecting to have more issues here of other stuff. Yep. Player visuals. Okay, so now this should then also go player ground check. Got that stuff. I guess. Yeah. Okay. I'm tempted to also have, so on the player at the top, it's like, whenever I'm trying to get the player and do stuff with it for other things, I go like, you know, player move, like whatever. I might want to have a separate like player main that other scripts access to like get stuff to do with the player, and then player main gets like the shorthands like, oh, is the player grounded? Have like a universal disable all like player input, you know, turn off all the other scripts and stuff, maybe. And maybe something similar on the camera. But yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, so ground stuff should be behaving the exact same, except now it's just done a little bit nicer, I suppose. It being just separated out, actually using the script again. It is looking straight down rather than being the sort of box around the player, which for now we're going to say is fine because having that sort of box way of doing it might cause other issues, but we'll just go with this for now. What time is it? 11:30. Okay, so I think I'm probably basically out of time here, but we made quite a bit of good progress here, so that's good. I just want to double check. So another thing, this, yeah. Okay. That's like code that should never run, but it can. On the ground detection over here, I want to just. I'll turn off the box collider for now. I guess I won't delete it just yet, but I should apply my prefabs to make sure things are going to work consistently in other scenes. I'm not worried about that. Wait, you should have on here stuff to apply. Yes. Cool. Yeah, we made good progress. We made good progress. Happy with this. What are we doing next? Hard to say. I want to figure out the camera stuff, because that's still a big issue, which again might involve me kind of redoing a large amount of how my camera works. Would be a big pain. In terms of getting the rest of the player just functional with other things, that is going to require, we're going to start to have to do more, I don't know. We did a lot of what I feel is the easy-ish stuff of getting the player back hooked up with other things. There's more complicated things to now also do, where we need the more complicated things that we need to do with, how do I word this? Basically everything that freezes the player, everything like those menus, right? Like how going into a level, and also when we beat a level, how it tries to hijack the camera, spin it around, and like freeze the player, move them to position. All of that stuff, getting that back working is going to be a pain. And might require, maybe should require, me writing some better code on the player that other code can call to be like, hey player, I'm hijacking your movement, move to this spot, and then the player internally handles all that rather than that being handled by external things. And then same with the camera, for the camera to be able to be hijacked to move to a certain spot. That, yeah, gonna be tricky, but doable. No, like the one place where that gets tricky though, or where in terms of like disabling like the player movement and whatnot, or disabling player input, there's sometimes where I don't necessarily want to disable all of that, right? Like when the player gets stunned, I want to basically disable like a lot of other things except for the stun. When the player's interacting with like a hazard, or when the player's interacting with a thing to repair, I want to disable like the move and the visuals and stuff like that. But like not the stun and not itself. But then when if I go to pause the game, then I want to disable basically everything. If I hit a thing that's supposed to beat the level, that goes through and disables all the inputs. So there's like most things outside of the player that want to say, hey player, stop moving, maybe should be consistent, but there's a lot of things internally that aren't. So I'll have to figure out sort of what will or won't, what will or will not, what am I trying to say? Trying to figure wow, I'm failing to English. Trying to figure out how to have that be consistent for what's gonna, Jeez, I can't talk. I'm definitely getting tired now. Yes, you would be ending the stream. For things to hijack the player movement, we're going to have to figure out how it's going to work. Anyways, but that stuff we're going to figure out eventually. Hopefully between now and the next time I'm streaming working on this game, I figure out the camera issues and figure out how to get the camera to be just working better. And so then the player can also then be fixed properly for like going up slopes again and whatnot. maybe next stream, I keep forgetting that as I said before, I want the player to gain speed going downhill, so maybe that's what we do. Start doing stuff with that, maybe. I don't know. I should maybe... I have a Trello board. An old Trello board I haven't looked at in a while. Trello. Where is... Blah. I have a Trello board for Handyman with Unicycle. Let's take a look at it. Blam. This is old. So maybe I might start using this again to sort of now keep track of like all these little things that I have to remember to like what needs to be made functional again and sort of where we're going with other things. We'll see. And then what things I prefer to be working on stream versus what things I prefer to be doing between streams, such as like just all the Googling, just research of trying to figure out how to, mainly just right now with this camera. Yeah. Anyways, though, so I think that was going to do it for this stream. Again, made good progress, so that's cool. And then, oh, Luzka, hey, hello, hey, my favorite crazy scientist, haha, hello, oh, yeah, sorry, you just come in at me saying that I'm about to end things off. Yeah, sorry about that, but I can show off, I can spend a quick minute to show off kind of how things are looking so far. Yeah, Francesco, yeah, it's not you for once. Francesco, the last like a few streams has come in right as things ended, but well, I see you're leaving, at least I can salute. Yeah, let me just, show off a quick little bit of what has happened this stream. Unicycle man, he's existing. He's getting to being better. I forget the last stream you were in, Luzka, but we over the last little bit have taken this Unicycle character and torn him apart and him building him back up from scratch to be a lot better. I missed some. All good, all good. There's still a lot that's broken, but yeah, he can move again, which is progress. You see that where he like turns in midair? It looks better when other bits are working that are currently broken. But he moves around. He can he actually turns again, which is progress. He does this little bobbing up and down thing. We can pause again. We couldn't pause for a while. Wah. Since we built back up the player, a lot of other parts of the game have just been very broken. So that was what a lot of today's stream was fixing. This does look like a proper test room. Yeah, mainly the grid and whatnot. Even this test room, we're gonna do more with, potentially with there's just a lot that's not functional at the moment. But also look, I can do this. Wow. So, which also isn't functional. Let me activate a thing that's gonna break some things, but make other things do cool things. You combined with... Hold on. This. The camera's gonna freak out, but then some player stuff is gonna unbreak. Oh, blah. Okay, when I said it was gonna freak out, it exceeded my expectations of how much it would freak out. Hold on. Undo. Undo. Okay, maybe if I set things back on when I'm not in play mode. Okay. So ignore Spider-Man. Yeah, he's Unicycle Spider-Man. Okay, ignore everything except for that I can go up. Oh, and even the turning's all bad. Everything's bad and terrible. And see, this is what the next couple streams will eventually be working towards fixing. But I can go up walls is what I was trying to point out. And oh god, it's all terrible. Ah, it used to work better before. It's actually gotten more broken. Hold on. I can do loop-to-loops. Oh god, I can't even move consistently in the same direction. Oh no. The camera's just very much dying. Oh no. But it's more broken equals more fun. I think there's a limit where that stops being true, and I think I've gone beyond that limit. But yeah, yikes. Also, the player is kind of slow right now because going downhill is supposed to make you speed up a lot, and that's also a thing that's not there yet. So, camera is super, super broken. If I turn that thing off, then, oh, look, breath of fresh air. I can move around and stuff again. But the consequence is I can't go uphill because then the movement going uphill kind of relies on the camera turning so that the input redirects going upwards and whatnot. So, a lot of just compounding broken nonsense that we're working on fixing more of. It's all a work in progress. However, next thing, can I just suggest something? Sure, yeah, go ahead. If it's like, hey, there's something with the player that seems broken, that's likely on my list of things to fix. There is so much that still needs to be fixed and smoothed out, and just adding the polish of just making stuff work better. It's all just, yeah. Currently, I'm mainly working on just getting things to not be broken. A lot of today's stream with stuff we were doing was just getting stuff like, all this other stuff that... Oh, A doesn't... That bit does not work with controller. But all this is functional again, which wasn't before. So that's good. Over here we got this scene. The UI around the screen, that's working. These almost work. They work, but not enough. Hazards work again. Falling off the stage and respawning, that works. You know, on Mario 64, when you change the camera, it does pan more or less smoothly. Like, the speed of the camera does start fast, and when it's almost done with the movement, it's slower. Are you talking about how... So, like, if I move, the further the further the player gets away from the center of the camera, it moves faster to catch up. Is that kind of what you're referring to? Or do you mean if I go faster... zoom out? I'm like, picturing in my head Mario 64 camera. Like, yeah, that camera is more complicated than this camera, sure. But I'm not sure I know specifically what part of the Mario 64 camera you're referring to. Well, Mario, you can change the zoom on the camera. On yours, it'd be, are you turning it? So, it has broken zoom code. There is code when, where is it? Will this work? No, it's not. Why are you that broken? You weren't earlier. Actually, I don't know why this is that broken, but zooming in, when there was like a wall in the way, it would zoom in. That was functional earlier today. There's a whole bunch that I'm still working on fixing with the camera that I might still be like needing to rebuild the camera from the ground up to fix certain issues or whatever. But to some degree, yeah, okay, that's kind of, I don't know why it wasn't working before, but like there is something of that. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but it's just, it causes other problems. That's why that code is disabled right now. Imagine that you turn 180 degrees and the camera does start to rotate around you fast, but when it's close to reach your back, it's slower. Oh, are you referring to, so, okay, are you, hold on, I thought I disabled you. Are you referring to how, let me just use this as an example. Right now, if I move left and right, the camera doesn't turn. I just move pure left and right. But in some games, some 3D platformers, if I turn, it like does this without my mouse input. Like, it kind of does this. Is that what you're referring to? Or like, if I move back, then the camera will whip around. Kind of, this, but with, so right now I'm doing this with my mouse. Are you referring to this kind of thing happening automatically? It would be cool to have such polish with the camera. It's just definitely not there yet because the camera is so broken that I haven't gotten to the point of doing those kind of things. So that's like we'll see about that later once the camera is not imploding on itself. is kind of that. So yeah, we'll see. But I have been wanting to actually look at other games, look at how certain games do certain camera things. Specifically, because another thing that makes my camera so much harder and so much more annoying is because I need the camera to turn when you go on slopes. When you, like Mario Galaxy style, you go up, well, it's not really gravity, it's more like momentum being on walls, like Sonic kind of. But I want the camera to, you know, go up. And when you go on a loop-de-loop, the camera to do a full 360. Having the camera do that and also do like those traditional camera things of like, oh, whatever, all the little things that good 3D platformer cameras have. Getting all that stuff to work together is being very, very, very tricky. But I know that games have done it before, and I've been trying to like look into some behind-the-scenes stuff of how some games have certain stuff programmed, but it's very hard to find such things. With the mouse, yeah, it does sound hard because it would be hard to know how much to turn the camera. Yeah, it's complicated math, but, you know, the geniuses have done it before. I just have to find out what they did and copy it. So it's like so it's like half manual, half auto. Yeah, but it's slightly different from game to game. And like, you know, different games having better or worse cameras. But in terms of, yeah, that going upside down and whatnot, a good thing that I've looked at that I'm not gonna be able to find this fast. Can I? A thing that I've looked at in the past as an example of sort of part of what I want in terms of the walking on walls and stuff. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. So anyone familiar with the game Ratchet and Clank, the first one specifically, there is a part of that game, so spoilers, if I can just find that part of the game. I've just Googled a walkthrough of the game, and I'm just skimming through trying to find a particular part of a particular level that I know I've brought up on stream before. Where are you? You get magnet boots and then walk up a wall. It happens like, not that many times in the game, but it happens a few times. There it is. Okay. Yeah. Blah. So, so first of all, just, ooh, game with better camera, ooh, cool, huh, yeah. So how does this game do this without everything imploding? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Potentially, like, trying to no, I mean, like, okay, let me try to say words again. Different game engines, so different rules to some degree. I don't know what game engine this was made off the top of my head, but also this was made, you know, a long time ago, before Unity, right? Like, Unity started in 2005. This was made before, I don't know what year this game was made in, but I think it was before 2005. That camera's auto. Yeah, that's another, well, I'd have to, I'm tempted to, like, get an emulator thing of this game and play through the game just up to this point on stream, just so I can then mess around with what specifically is going on with certain things. But yeah, to some degree, I think I know how to make it. Then there's also, like, there's two problems. And so I have some ideas of how conceptually to do certain things, but then taking some of that conceptual stuff and then figuring out the nitty-gritty stuff, these very specific physics and quaternion nonsense to get it to physically happen, that's part of the issues. You got the part of the unicycle, you got the part that the unicycle will not fall, right? Yeah, that was also, okay, technically what I'm doing is a little bit different from this. This is like a magnet surface that, like, oh, if you're not moving, you don't fall. For my case, I'm having a momentum-based thing where it's like, as long as you have speed, you won't fall off. Once you lose your speed, then you'll fall. I just haven't coded that yet, but eventually that'll be there. But then I do want magnet walls that then you do stick to, but I want both. So only the center of the character, so only check the center of the character against the surface. There you have the angle for the camera. Sort of. So, okay, this, yeah, okay, this angle's behind the player, sure. Let me hold on. Can I don't have, can I bring up my own stream from, I can't, not easily. This was more functional than it looks earlier. Can I, okay, hold on, let me just see if real quick I can turn off some things and get the, let me see if I can break and unbreak some things. Where's the thing that turns the player? Because again, so just some parts of turning to go like upside down were working. There was just some parts that weren't working, that to fix those parts that weren't working, I'm potentially having to tear apart a lot of what did work. Okay. Align to ground this bit. Oh, you're all different now. Can I quickly put you? Hold on here. Can I temporarily break and then unbreak you real quickly? Blah. And then instead of you having up to ground normal, player ground check dot instance dot ground and then, okay, so hold on, just this, and then, Quaternion, yeah, it's not Quaternion. Yeah, that's why this is hard, because Quaternions are a nightmare to deal with. Okay, so that should disable, player turning, and then to that too, hold on, almost there. Okay, this, yeah, okay, the player back to turning like this, which means, nope, that combined with then turning back on the slope turn, now this will quote-unquote work. See, like, I have this. This looks on the surface like it's working. But, oh, I bet there are many tutorials on YouTube, but it's because it's a common problem on Unity games. So, this is the thing. If it's a flat camera that doesn't do loop-to-loops, yeah, there's tons of tutorials on that kind of thing. Here's where things get tricky, if this bug will still happen. You see that? You see that? Those funky camera snaps? That's the problem. That's a big issue of the problem, is how I go, okay, you're sideways. When you go, like, off into midair, angle the camera back towards the ground, but so it's relatively facing the same proper way, that's what's not working. That's what's being a big pain. And, like, you know, figuring out the math to make this stop snapping like that, that's part of the big old problem. That's problem one of many. There's other problems. There's problem with the zooming. There's problem with like, yeah, just stuff. So there's that. But then also, you see, I had to put some code back to how it was before. There's also just getting the camera to behave like this again when the player turns. If I put this code, hold on. I want to be able to put this code back in, and then have the camera behave how it was just behaving. And then, wait, I have a trick up my sleeve. Oh, do ya? I'd love to hear it. So then this has its own issues because this code was not accounting for the player turning. So now with the player's turning, it's like I'm like those are just because I changed one bit of code and have to change other bit of code to account the ChatGPT. Yeah. Great trick. There are bits of this that I actually have consulted ChatGPT about. Even being like, hey, are you familiar with like Mario 64? Like, can you tell me very much in depth about how the camera in that game might have been programmed? I've been doing, that's been some of my research trying to figure out a lot of this stuff. But but again, this specific problem that I'm having is like, so like it's weird, right? Because there's like, here's an example of a game that basically does what I want it to do. But then this has its own issues of like, where it doesn't apply to my game, because there's certain stuff that this can get away with because the player moves so slowly. This segment of the game you go through at a crawl. My player moves a lot faster, and that introduces its own additional problems with the camera having to whip around real quick and stuff like that. That's like other stuff. Then there's stuff like this where it's like, oh yeah, so also this, like, you move on a very thin path and you turn around, like, there's not that much to this. So there's more it can get away with. And like, this isn't the whole game. This is like, you know, tiny chunk of game to like, just go up and over and down. And you do this like, what, like 3 times in the game or something like that? Well, no. Tell them I got this code and I have this problem. I've been there, done that. Well, sort of, but then I've made more changes recently. Like, this is stuff I'm going to be figuring out between, like, now and, like, next few streams or whatever. I'm not out of ideas. It's just I'm still working on solving stuff. But maybe it's falling because of the forces and not because of the camera. The player is falling fine when I have this stuff in here. It's just certain stuff now with the way the camera is facing and stuff with how the camera is facing and then how it's trying to turn based on how the player is and blah blah blah. There's like, I know, and part of the issue is me being able to just verbally describe. For me to Google stuff, I gotta be able to verbally describe known issues or whatever. But can you try and move up the slope slow, just out of curiosity? So okay, ignoring those issues, ignoring that for a second. So like, this current problem is fixable. Like this problem where it's whipping around, is a fixable problem with the camera. That, like, this problem just started happening when I messed with how the player turns. This is, I'm gonna be overly confident it's like somewhat easily fixable. I just got to go about actually doing that. But, well, okay, no, it's not gonna be easily fixable, but I know part of why this is happening, and I know that this bit is fixable. I just gotta do it. But, like, once I fix this, then that's not the main problem. The main problem is how it snaps around when I go off of stuff, which that's its all own issue. And part of that is because I have these compounding game objects. I have this camera pivot, slope pivot, horizontal pivot, input forward, vertical pivot, and camera ideal position. And there's a reason why vertical and horizontal pivot, why they're like separated as two different game objects rather than be part of the same code. Also, the One Owl, hello, welcome to the stream. Unfortunately, we're about to be editing things off very shortly. I've just been doing a lot of rambling. Is it possible both are the same problem? So, funny enough, before I did stuff with turning the player, the problems with the player turning and the camera turning, they actually were having a same underlying issue. But then I fixed the player one by not fixing the problem, but by doing something in a different way where then that problem stopped existing. So I didn't really solve the problem, I just made it so I didn't have to deal with it. But now with the camera is having that issue where I can't as easily get rid of it unless I'm considering potentially implementing some of the stuff with this camera pivot in a different way. But anyways though, so like this is something that I've been working on for a bit and like thought a lot about, doing a lot of Googling and whatnot. And again, I'm not like out of ideas yet. I still have more stuff to mess around with and Google and figure out physics. It just, again, quaternions are hard. Quaternions are, because like again, I can conceptually be like, sounds like the same underlying problem. Yeah, sort of. Well, so right now, okay. The problem with the camera whipping around is that this game object player didn't turn before. It always had a rotation of 0, 0, 0. And some of the camera code, I think is the camera pivot code, expected and worked based off of this always having a rotation of 0, 0, 0. Now that it turns, it doesn't have a rotation of only zeros. This Y turns, it messes with this. So I just gotta have this counteract that. I just haven't done that code yet because this was a new recent change. It's like, I gotta do this. This will be like the next thing that I do. I just gotta actually do it. So that's not like this bit isn't a huge problem. It's the bit afterwards with the snapping around, which again, I know part of why it's happening conceptually. It's just stuff that I got to figure out, and potentially part of that might be not having this slope pivot implemented in the same way and having it be mixed into these other horizontal and vertical pivots and whatnot. But anyways, that is, yeah, that is stuff that I'm gonna be, continuing to figure out in the next couple streams. Tomorrow's stream though, so as I've said, the last little bit I've been doing streams in groups of 3 where I do stream of working on this game, well, in a random order kind of. Stream of working on this game, stream of working on the thing down there, that background animation that we're continuing to add more to and make it do more cool stuff, and then stream of just playing a game because, yeah, for funsies. So, well, actually, yesterday's stream was working on the thing down there, and today's stream was working on this. So in stream tomorrow is going to be playing a game. We're going to be continuing Pac-Man World 1 remake thing. It's made in Unity, so that's, we can get the bonus points for that. We're going to be continuing that, and then day after that, stream working on that thing, and then stream after that will be back to this, is the current plan. So that also gives me more time in between streams to be doing more Googling and figuring out, yeah, stuff with this. Just an idea, it's possible that micro movements on the camera does, micro movements on the mouse does get crazy. What? Sorry, so just an idea, it's possible that micro movements on the mouse does get crazy the camera while you go up. I don't fully follow, but, does get crazy the micro moves on the, I'm not sure what you mean, but yeah. So like, yeah, mouse stuff is interfering with this, sure. If I have my hand off the mouse, it's still doing this, and yeah, any potential additional bits of polish to be adding onto this camera to make it better will come after, once it's bare minimum working in the first place. Yeah, so, but anyway, so yeah, enough with, yeah, figuring out this camera stuff. We're gonna be, like, I'm gonna be doing that on my own between now and then. And again, I have ideas for things, just gotta, like, the code is trying to force the camera to follow you. Anytime movement on the mouse it gets crazy. So, like, when I'm not moving, it's fine. And if I move perfectly forward, it's also fine. Fine-ish. When I start to turn that in. Again, it's some code that code A is expecting object B to never turn, and then it was working. But now object B turns, and so this code completely breaks. I just gotta make this thing account for the fact that this thing turns, which is fine. That part's not the hard part. It's just a matter of doing it. And then part B is accounting for the thing, the fact that this object doesn't turn correctly under certain situations. That's the tricky bit that I'm figuring out, but that comes after. But yeah, so try to catch next stream. Thank you. I've yeah, my stream schedule is a bit all over the place. I said that I would be trying to stream earlier in the day, and that kind of hasn't quite happened yet because I've just been busy. But I'd stop the mouse movement and try again. So this turning around is 100% not the mouse movement, because I know exactly what's causing this. It's the fact that the player is turning and the camera code used to work off of the assumption that that object never turned. But now that it is turning, it's causing problems. I know 100% that that's the case because that's just how it's coded, and I just got to have it not do that. But yeah. So I could turn off the mouse, and this will be the behavior. This is 100% not the mouse. And that I know that because, and I can prove it, because this horizontal pivot, how this has rotation 0, negative 4.2, 0, this only changes because of mouse, and it might change slightly. Yeah, no, yeah, it never changes. The camera can go all wibbly wobbly. The fact that those numbers aren't changing means the mouse is doing nothing. That's just how I've coded it. Anyways, but yeah, so I'll continue to figure stuff out, but yeah, so let's yeah, so we're gonna end things off, and then I guess I will rate someone. We'll find, yeah, top person doing Unity stuff. Looks like we're doing this person. Okay, so I'll do my outro first. So that'll do it for this live stream. No, I'm forgetting my outro. Shoot. That'll do it for this live stream. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around. Okay, now we go rate person. And then we're gonna go. Why are you not doing this? And blah, and then blah, and then we're gonna go blah, and then yeah. No, buttons. Complemo. Sure. Sure. Someone doing Unity stuff. Yeah. Blah and blah. Okay. Buttons, and hold on. Gotta find ways to like speed up this process. All right. Okay. Now ending things for realsies. All right. Yeah. So yeah, next stream. So okay, we'll wrap it real quick. Next stream tomorrow will be finishing off Pac-Man. Well, I don't know if we'll finish it off, depending on how much time I have. I think I'm over halfway through the game. No, I was at 53%. That's what it says on the save file. 53% through the game. Although it might get hard to the end. We'll see. And I think I'll try to 100% it just for funsies. Game I'm doing after that, I think, will be Detroit Become Human. Possibly, and then after that, then we'll see. Just other games in my stream library, just because. But yeah, then streams in between, we're gonna be finished off the thing down there, making that better, and then back to this game. Hopefully, between now and the next stream where I'm working on this game, I'll have some of these camera issues sorted out, or at least just in a better state. But yeah, ooh, Detroit is amazing. Yeah, I've heard, but I've remained quite spoiler free on it. Yeah. Anyways, I'm about to. There's like a timer for how long I have to press the raid button before it like stops. So I already did my outro like a few minutes ago. All right. Anyways, oh, I literally see a 10-second timer. All right, we're gonna go now. All right, bye. See ya.